Maduro has $5 billion in a Swiss bank. He was moving money from the Venezuelan government. I was making about $1.8 million a month. What they didn't know is I created my own illegal Ponzi scheme. I'm getting 30 calls a day. When are you going to come to Venezuela? We want our money. We want our money. We have to go to Venezuela and I have to see these people. If I don't call you, I'm dead. I was born in Madrid, Spain, which is something that a lot of people don't know.
Right.
But I was born there because my biological father was a fugitive. So he decides to go to a bar and he gets out, he's drunk. He sees somebody breaking into his car. He pulls a gun out and shoots him. And later to find out it wasn't his car. He was just a little wasted. So, so his father, my grandfather, who I also never met, was a judge and told him, listen, you got 24 hours to leave the country. So he leaves the country, he flies to Spain, and my mother follows a couple of months later. And by the time we get to Spain, he's already in Italy and he has a new family and the whole thing. So I was born in Madrid, Spain, and then I was returned to Venezuela. So I'm Venezuelan by bloodline.
Yeah.
And but I was born in Madrid, Spain. And I was raised in Venezuela until I was about 14 that I came to the United States. Okay. I did my high school here, my high school years here in Florida.
Why did you come here when you were 14?
I was a bit of a troubled child. So, and there was no Chavez, it was a different Venezuela. But even then, it was a upper class, lower class. There was no middle class. And we were part of the lower class. So my mother remarried. My stepdad had an opportunity to come to the United States. They flew into the United States. The opportunity was a failure, a bust. And they went back and they left me and my brother here. They said, listen, you have a better chance to make it here in the United States than in Venezuela. So you can stay behind, finish your high school, and then figure your shit out. So I stayed here with my brother, he was 18 and I was 15.
Okay.
And I finished high school, Lake Worth High School.
Where are you living?
You know, little pieces of shit trailer homes. And back in those days, if you remember, Matt, it wasn't like this that you could work part-time until you were 18 or out of high school. Back in those days, you could work 40 hours a week and still be a high school student.
And pay your bills.
And pay your bills.
You could actually live.
You were actually an adult.
Right.
You know? That's why I love that the kids now, they have a term, adulting. Like, oh my God, I'm adulting. I'm like, listen, bro. I grew up, I was born adulting. So I was adulting. And I paid my own bills, and I carried my own load, and I had my little beater car, 1972 Toyota Celica.
Nice.
Yeah, a year older than me. And that's kind of how I made it. Then I graduated from high school, Lake Worth High School, and I decided, man, I want to get out of Florida. I want to experience. I want to be white. I want to feel what it feels like to be white.
Did you have and you had a full head of hair at that time?
I had a full head of hair.
Yeah.
And
good-looking young kid.
Yeah, and I said, man, I've tried everything in my life. Why not try being white? So I opened a map and I said, where is the farthest place north that I can go that will be like the whitest place in the planet? So I chose St. Cloud, Minnesota. And I moved to St. Cloud, Minnesota. And there were, back in those days, it was probably about 45,000 people in that city. And two blacks, 3 Hispanics.
Which everybody knew where they were at all times.
Yeah, everybody.
Tyrone's on his way to the grocery
I remember, you know the Mexican guy? Which was funny. I mean, I'll tell you a quick break here. I'll tell you a funny story. I was going to college there, St. Cloud State University, and I wanted the full-blown white experience. Like, I wanted to be Caucasian. So, and I watched all these movies like Revenge of the Nerds, you know, and those things. Can't Buy Me Love. And I said, I need to join a fraternity. That's kind of like what white people do. So I joined Theta Chi. I was a Greek for a while. And we had a sorority sister, which was Delta Zeta. And one of the girls goes, listen, I need you to come with me for my Spanish class. I'm taking like basic Spanish, and we have a project. And I would love for you to come to the class with me. And I said, yeah, absolutely, no problem. Come to 8 o'clock. This is
like a show and tell. Like, yeah. I have a real Spaniard.
So the project was you were supposed to bring something from Latin America. And the lady's like, this is my friend Juan, and he's from Latin America. And all the people were like, whoa. And they were like, say something in Spanish. And I was like, hola. Beautiful. So I think she got like an A+. I was like, this is fantastic. Later, I learned that it was show and tell. So she brought me for show and tell that. So I went to Minnesota, got my couple of years there. Didn't graduate from college. Didn't like it. But I became like a Garth Brooks fan, and I will go to my Alabama concerts, and I was a country. I'm still a bit of a country guy. You can tell by the accent. And then I said, I gotta move back south, you know. So I drove down and I moved to Orlando, Florida. And in Orlando, I transferred. I was working in Walmart and Finger Hut in quite a success story. Walmart and Finger Hut in Minnesota. So I transferred to the Walmart down here. And then out of Walmart, I got my real estate license because somebody told me, dude, there is a lot of money on real estate. And you are bilingual, you know, you are sexy.
Threw that in there.
Yeah, come on. And you definitely have all the skill set.
What year was this?
Man, I got my license in 1991.
Okay.
92, give or take. You know, the market was different.
Yeah.
It was interesting. But I said I never sold anything before. So he said, you got to go to a training camp. We're going to send you to like the boot camp of salespeople. This was a friend of mine that I met down in Florida. And I said, what is it? He says, you gotta do some time selling timeshare. That's where you got to master your skill. Mm-hmm. So I got my license. I went, I got trained. I sold timeshare for a company called Westgate Vacation Villas, CFI, Central Florida Investments.
Remember the guy?
Are you a victim?
No, we interviewed a guy who sold for them.
Who was it?
I'll send you. You'll die laughing. Like his whole thing is on working for them.
Oh my God, it's
sales
phenomenal.
Techniques,
it's
everything.
Phenomenal. Listen, if you want to learn how to be a crook, go sell timeshare for CFI.
Yeah, that's pretty much his
I
take.
learned the skills like you gotta fake sincerity. You know, things like tell them what they want to hear. If you want their opinion, you give it to them. You know, those kind of things. Those are where like the mantras, the everyday mantra. I sold timeshare for a couple of years. I was really successful. And a company hired me to develop their training program, train their salespeople. I signed a 3-year contract, broke it, and they sued me for civil conspiracy, damages, non-compete, you name it. Spent about a year and a half fighting it, which was a dumb decision. And during the year and a half, I said, man, I gotta, you know, I have to do something. I'm losing everything. I'm in debt. My house is on foreclosure. I was married. I had 2 kids.
I have a question though. You came here when you're 14.
Yeah.
You're doing all of this. Are you legally in the country?
On and off.
What does that mean?
I mean, I came legally.
Yeah.
B1, B2. And then I had a student visa.
Okay.
So I had an F1 visa. Then I felt is the term legal or illegal is a judgmental term, man. It's called out of status.
Okay.
So I don't come here to be judged by you. So I was out of status for a while.
Okay.
So then I found a way to go back into status.
But you got married.
And I married somebody that was a citizen. So that got me back into status.
How does that not stick?
What do you mean doesn't stick?
Don't you become a citizen?
No, you become a resident. And then you have to work your way towards becoming a citizen. But that's a whole different fuck up that I'll tell you.
Okay.
Because my ex-wife brings it up all the time. Like, well, mister, I want to launder money, you know? So I was married and I gained my status and I just have to write a pardon. And they pardon that period where you are out of status.
Okay.
Back on those days. Now they don't pardon shit. But back on those days they did. So I regained my status, and I said I need to do something.
Okay.
And
wife, 2 kids.
Wife, 2 kids. So I said I'm gonna come up with a real estate school, how to teach people how to get their real estate license. Nobody was doing it in Spanish. So I translated the books. I went to FREC. I told them that I will help them translate the state exam. And they said, yeah, go ahead. So I developed the real estate exam in Spanish in Florida.
Okay.
Big mistake.
Well,
big mistake. Little did I know that every Latino was going to get the real estate license. So I opened the first real estate school in Spanish, and I killed it. I was phenomenal. I mean, I had 7 schools all over the state. I was rocking.
And this is back when you had to show up in person.
Yeah, you have to go and test. You have to do
like a Marriott or
63 hours. I mean, I had like I was a rock star. And then I said, why don't I open a brokerage? I have all these salespeople.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I open a brokerage? So I opened my first company, Home First Realty. And I said, why don't I hire these people to sell for me? So I had this like platoon of salespeople that sold real estate, and I will train them how to sell. And out of the sudden, here comes 2005, 2006, and the real estate goes crazy. We're talking about no income, no assets, 110, 120% financing. And I said, I'm loving this thing. This is what I got to do. I got to figure out a way to get all the people that have no income, no assets, and sell them something. So I realized that if you have no income and no assets, you also have no money.
Yeah.
And probably no job. So I said, maybe we can figure out a way to create a fake profile on these people. So I tried
a fake credit profile.
Fake credit profile, fake income, fake persona. And it worked.
Sounds familiar.
Right? Have you ever heard of that, man?
I've heard that.
You've heard that. You know somebody that
I know
did
a
that.
guy.
You know a guy. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, what if I can manipulate the prices of the property?
Boy.
What if what if I could buy a property for $39,000, do some fake closings, and say that it's worth $200,000?
That would never work.
That would never
That's
work.
not work.
I don't think the system has that flaw.
No.
So did it a couple of times, worked, and
which you're paying the extra doc stamps on the closing. So you're buying properties for what, 30, 40,000, and you're recording them at what, 100?
100 to 100,000, you know?
Yeah.
But what's crazy is then, you know this, then you hire an appraiser, and you get a new appraisal, and you tell them, listen, these are the 2 comps. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, thank you. You did.
Yeah.
You cut a lot of research behind.
Yeah. At first you're having to twist their arm a little bit, but after you've done it 8 times, 10 times, they're coming in telling you 250, 220. You're like, you're serious?
And if you're
like, this is great.
I had an appraiser that had a bit of a cocaine habit.
No.
Yeah. So when he was like strung out, how much you want the house to be appraised for? You know, as long as I will pay him for the appraisal, he was good to go.
Yeah.
So I started escalating this thing, and before you know it, I had investors that had mortgages on these things telling me, listen, we don't know about these mortgages. Can we package them out and you sell them? And I'm like, oh my God, it's like bonds. So I can put together packages and sell these things? And they were like, yeah, and we'll pay you a percentage. So I had to find investors to buy these shitty-ass loans from like mezzanine lenders, from bridge loans, you know, like the down payment loans. And dude, in a matter of months, I had a huge operation. So I ended up buying apartment complexes and doing this thing at a massive scale.
How much money are you making a month at this point?
You want to know what's crazy? Somebody found a newspaper interview, 2006, where they interviewed me, and I had just bought a residency in hotel, which I was going to turn into an apartment complex. And they say he makes over $20 million a year.
Really?
And we're talking about 2006.
Was it accurate or
yeah,
close?
Right on the money.
Fuck.
Right on the money.
You must have told him.
So I was making about $1.7, $1.8 million a month.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Good times. And
if only you'd taken that money and bolted.
Dude, don't you?
I never look back. Don't look back. Don't even do it.
No, but look at this. You were in prison with me.
Right.
And I remember walking the yard with people that were drug dealers.
Yeah.
And they always ask me the same thing. Hey, did you put any money away? And I'm like, no.
I hate that question.
No, I didn't put any money away.
Right.
So you mean you thought you never were going to get caught? I'm like, of course I thought I was never going to get caught.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, bro, that's stupid.
Yeah. I'm that arrogant.
Yeah, but I realized that people that are in the drug business, they enter that business knowing you're either going to end up dead or you're going to end up in prison.
And they see their friends like I didn't know anybody that's going to prison.
Correct. So they and their friends tell them like, listen, put some money away, bro, because when you get out, you're gonna need some money to start over. But white collar criminals, we spend everything we make because we think we're bigger than the system.
Yeah. The more you get away with, the bolder you think, and you get to that point where you think you're infallible and you're just that good. You're just that smart.
And I figured this out.
Right.
Now I figure out a way to do it, because they're smart crimes.
There has never been a time when I was taking a girlfriend to a musical and you were hobnobbing with all the other rich people and somebody said to me, hey, by the way, you may get busted soon. You should put away a couple million.
Yeah.
That's never happened.
Never. And you read in the news all these drug people going to prison. But it was, Madoff came after us. We didn't know any Ponzi schemer that was...
I was already locked up when Madoff got
me
knocked
too.
off.
So the timing was off. So I was making some serious money. So I ended up buying an apartment complex in Fort Lauderdale. And I think it was 189 units. And JP Morgan was heavily involved on that loan. Yeah. I don't think Jamie Dimon was there back in those days. And sure enough, they sell the apartment. I sell the apartments, and they start foreclosing. Because most people didn't exist or didn't have that profile.
Why? So are you getting like people coming in the office and you pull their credit and you're like, fuck, like this guy's got no credit or he's got horrible credit and this person works as a maid and claims no income. Then you say, hey, I can get you into a condo for, what are they going for? 100,000?
199 to 299.
Oh, okay. So Jesus. So
I know.
250, 300,000. So 300, I get you into this condo, your payment will be whatever, X amount. And then you turn around and you create a fake profile. You create this whole, do you lend them the money and then sell it as a package or do you?
But I never brought the client. I had this like squad of people that will do all these things for me.
Okay.
And then I was the guy that will
You got a bunch of Matt Coxes in the back.
That's correct. And then I will structure this is what it needs. This is what it needs. The money has to come into escrow, and then when it comes out, I'll get it back. You start moving money around. And on these crimes, there's a lot of accomplices that, of course, they don't do any time. The title company is like the biggest freaking scammer he is the reason why this shit works.
Yeah.
I don't know any title company owner that did time.
No. So
they were all like, I don't know. He brought us a bag of cash, and we thought it was the client,
While this whole thing is going on, you're packaging the loans, and then you're selling them in bulk?
In bulk to investors.
Okay.
And this is where, because this thing now
But why aren't you not just selling them outright? Because it's 2007, things are starting to go bad.
Yeah, I know.
Things are starting because everybody always says, "Oh, 2008." No. The year before it was 2008 was when they gave them the bailout. It was 2007. It was.
If you were in real estate in 2007, you know what it feels like to go into a closing table, and the closing agent telling you, "Oh, the bank just went under, so we cannot fund your loan," and you're like,
"Yeah." Right.
Bro, are you kidding me? Or like trying to get the funding quickly because they're going to go bankrupt in about 2 hours.
And you're already, in 2007, you're in the middle of the project. It has to sell, right?
Deep in debt because you have to put money in for money to come out. So like you said, I was putting down payments for people. I was paying draws to my agents. They're not closing, so I'm not getting my money back.
So are you still married?
I'm still married, which is, dude, my ex-wife deserves...
She's super supportive, or was she?
No, I kept her.
No, I understand she didn't know what she was doing.
She liked the money.
Yeah, but I mean, was she? Are you coming? You're not coming back saying I'm going under. This is bad. This loan has to close.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes and no. I was like arrogant, bro. I'm like, I can't turn this shit around.
Yeah,
I know I can turn this shit around. So somebody comes to me and tells me it's like in the middle of 2007, and I'm like in crisis, and. I don't know. You were married before you went to prison, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of husband you were back on those days. I know you're married again. I know you just found a guy and you're making him super happy.
It's a lady boy.
But I was a piece of shit husband.
Yeah. Oh no. Listen. No. There's
Like I always tell people.
I promise you, much worse.
Yeah, like I always tell people, when you look for like if you Wikipedia bad husbands, I'm out there like, I was a horrible husband.
It's not like there was one chick on the side. It's I'm juggling chicks.
It gets to a point where your chick on the side is your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like horrible, and we're having all these marital problems. So I'm having all these issues, and then my business is going under, and then somebody goes into my office and goes, "Listen, I was referred to you. I am."
Comes off the street?
A realtor that knows me told him, talk to this guy, he can figure shit out.
Yeah.
And he goes, listen, I was referred to you. I'm a judge in Venezuela. And I was a former prosecutor. And I'm about to retire because I'm going to open a private consulting firm in Venezuela.
Okay, where are you? Where's your office?
My office is off Kirkman Road in Orlando. And then I have one in Miami. But this is in the Orlando office.
And he just shows up?
Just walked in. Like, listen, my secretary goes, somebody wants to talk to you from Venezuela. And I'm like, oh, shit, this guy's going to buy 20 apartments, And he's like, I have money that I need to move. And they tell me that you have these properties and these investments that you're selling. Dude, if there is a way that I can give you the money without many questions, I'm just going to put the money in your account. Mm-hmm. And you make sure you invest it and you give it back to us. I'm like, shit, I got the bailout. This must be the bailout that Obama's talking about.
Right.
So I said, I got the bailout. That's it. I said, yeah, no problem. How much money? He said, well, we'll start with a couple million. And I said, beautiful. A couple million will get me my head, above water. So I said, yeah, no problem. Let's start doing it. I remember I had an account with Wachovia at that time. So we started moving. He will come to the United States. Some of the deposits were cash, so they had to be done through time. You can't go with $500,000 in cash to the bank.
I think they call the charge structuring.
Is that what it's called?
Under 10,000, 9,900.
Yeah.
8,700.
Listen, you're all gonna go to the bank and you're all gonna deposit this month. Yeah.
Yes.
So we started doing it like that, and then some wire transfer from one account to another account to another account, or some of them will come from Aruba, or Curacao. They will, and
doesn't sound suspicious at all.
No. I mean, and the problem was, these people thought I knew what I was doing, and what they didn't know is that I created my own illegal Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. You're kind of winging it.
Yeah, and they're giving me all this money, and I'm using to pay payroll. I'm not using it to invest it. I'm using to pay the debts that I have, thinking these properties are going to close at some point, and I'm going to give these people their money back, So obviously they started going, okay, now we need you to like give us the money back. And I'm like, well.
Over what period of time?
This was probably they started in 2006. I want to say over a year and a half.
Where did you think the money was coming from, or you didn't even think about it?
Well, when he told me I'm a judge and I'm a prosecutor and now I'm going to be a consultant, I knew he was moving money from the Venezuelan government.
Okay.
Officials of the government,
right.
So I said, okay, but listen, if I don't ask, I'm not accomplice. Yeah. That doesn't work like that.
Works.
There is something, boys and girls, there is something called conspiracy.
Yeah.
And
willful blindness.
Yeah. So I decided I'm not going to ask any questions as long as the money keeps coming in. But at some point they go, listen, where's the money? And they didn't want the money back. They wanted the money on assets. Like, remember the $2 million? Yeah. Okay. This is what I need you to do. I need you to buy 10 Range Rovers. I need you to buy a plane. I need you to buy. And I was like, holy fuck. How do I buy these things? I don't have the money. So I kept like, listen, there's not an inventory. I already put the order. I talked to the salesperson, fake, purchase orders, bill of lading. I mean, it was a disaster. To a point, they go, listen, you need to come to Venezuela and you need to, give us some explanations.
Oh my God.
Everything is, bad. I'm at that point, I'm separated from my wife. I said I was dating a girl, Michelle, and I don't know if she subscribes to your channel, but She probably does. And I tell her, listen, and Michelle is like, dude, I can deal with you. I mean, I'm getting these calls, like literally 20, 30 calls a day. When are you going to come to Venezuela? We want our money. We want our money. Where are the cars? Ooh. Where are they playing? You said the Range Rovers were going to be here in a month. And I'm like, they don't have them on white. They have them on blue. You know, there's a... You wanted a 4x4, it's 2x4. You know, I'm making up all this crazy shit. And I'm like, well, listen, I have to go to Venezuela and I have to see these people. And this is how it's going to play out. If I don't call you, I'm dead. You know, you got to figure out how to get me out of there. All right.
Why do you have to go at all?
Because it starts threatening, like, listen, you have family here, and you have, and we know, and we have people in the United States that can get to you, and so I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna go. So I fly in, they get me off the plane, which was like my first sign of, okay, this is gonna get interesting, because I land, and then the flight attendant goes, please remain seated. We're calling one passenger that needs to be deplaned right now. And they call my name, and I'm like, all right. So I get out, and there's like escort in the plane, and they escort me out. No customs. They take my passport, they stamp it, and I'm like,
what kind of escort? Are these like military
escorts.
Oh, military.
Yeah, they're military escorts. And they walk out, stamp my passport, I get in, and the judge is there, and he's like, listen, we gotta talk. Bro, this money is from other people. It's not my money. And one of the guys is a Colombian drug lord. And he's from a cartel. It's called El Cartel del Norte del Valle. And what I didn't know that I later learned is the drugs were produced in one country. They were sent to Venezuela. And in Venezuela, they pay like a storage fee, you know. And then from there, it gets shipped out. So we are the bridge of all these drugs trafficking. And then a portion of that money was sent to me and to many people like me that were buying things for these people.
Did you tell him it sounds like a you problem?
So I said, I got the Range Rovers. If I go back, I got them, you know. So they locked me up in a hotel room for about 3 days, and I'm under strict supervision. And like I have military people there, and I have people that are dressed up, but they're like dressed in normal clothes, but you know they're like paramilitary operation. But the cool thing about that, or not so cool, but cool for me, is that these people are a fucking disaster. So they're drinking, they're doing drugs, they're getting like these young prostitutes into the room, and they're having all these wild parties, and I'm just like sitting there like with a, you know, watching the show. There's nothing I can do, but because I'm supposed to come up with the money somehow.
So that's what they're doing. They're having you sit there until you figure out how you're going to get this money.
And they figure if this guy's sitting here for a long time, somebody's going to come up with the money. They're going to know this guy's here, you know? So
that's a lot of money.
So I kept telling them, like, I need my phone. I need my laptop. How can I get the money if I don't have a way to connect with the United States? Your money's there.
Right.
The Range Rovers are probably in my house right now, you know? So I keep testing these people that are guarding me to see which ones were the dumber ones. And I knew the ones that enjoy the young prostitutes the most. And we're talking young. I mean, there's things that I probably never told you before on the podcast, but these girls were probably like 15, 16, 17. I mean, you're talking about these guys are another level of sick. They were like the dumbest ones.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, these are the guys that I need to convince to give me my phone and give me my stuff so I can do this thing. So I'm finally talking to them until I figure out, okay, the phone is there, my passport is there. These guys are going to party their ass off. They're going to pass out. So they pass out one night. I get my phone. I get my passport. I get out of the room. I call a cab, and I call Michelle. And Michelle is like, oh, my God. I said, listen, I'm sick of this relationship. I'm done with you. I'm done with your shit. Okay, fine. You can dump me. But get me a ticket, American Airlines, Venezuela, Miami, or Venezuela, anywhere in the United States, like right now. I was kidnapped for 3 days. No contact with anybody. I need to get the fuck out of here, and I need to go to the airport. And I need to call you when I take off. If I don't call you, they caught up to me. Okay. I get a cab, go to the airport, check in with my ID. I got a first class ticket, so I flew back on first class. And I fly Miami, Caracas. By the time I landed, I must have had, according to the DEA agents that later got my phone records, he said, you had about 120 different missed calls and messages. We're going to kill you. We're going to chop you into pieces. We're going to kill your family. We're going to destroy everybody. We're going to blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, kill him. I don't like him anyways.
They couldn't come up with the money. So when you got to the airport and you walk up to the counter, did you know?
It's horrible.
Yeah, I'm curious of the details. How do you get out of the
horrible.
How do you get out of the hotel?
I was going to say, by the time last time you told a story about the guy was asleep.
The prostitute was awake.
Right.
When I walked into the room, because I'm walking out of the room, and I'm like, shit, I'm logging in. And I turn around, and I see everybody's like, pass the fuck out, bottles everywhere. There's coke on the tables. These guys are like, all out. And one of the hookers is awake, and I go like this, and she just winks at me. And I close the door, and I'm like, fuck. So finally, when I get to the airport, I go to the counter, they give me my ticket, and then I have to go through customs.
Okay.
And
did you know there was going to be did you know you were going to have a ticket? You felt pretty good.
Well, she told me like, listen, you have a reservation, just go to the counter and pick it up. I just made it, and then when you get here, we're done.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, good, we're done. And dude, it got so. She's now a lesbian, by the way.
That's what you did to her.
That's what I did to her.
That's horrible.
That's
but
horrible.
You can understand.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I was her last experience, and after that, she said, I'm signing off. Like Shark Tank. For that reason, I'm out. So I get to the counter, I pass customs, got on the plane. The plane starts pulling out, starts moving, and I'm looking back, and everything looks suspicious. Like, oh my God, there's military people on the runway. Oh my God, there's military people talking to the lady on the gate. Oh my God, so until the plane takes off, I'm like, okay, I can breathe. I land here, I had a bunch of phone calls, and then the threats begin. Because I tell them, listen, I need more money. The truth is this. I got everything you asked me for, but I cannot claim it. I need to pay these people to release the Range Rovers, the plane.
They can't possibly believe this.
Dude. So they wire me a little more money. And of course the money goes to payroll and it goes to all this stuff, Oh my God. And now, it's been 5 years since you and I talk about this. And I think it's been 5 years since I talked about this. Dude, and I don't know if it happens to you. I sit down and I go, what the fuck was I thinking?
Oh, I say that all the time.
Why did I think I can pull this off?
I think about it. When I think of walking into the bank with fake documents, when I think about the things that I did in my 30s, and I sit there and I think,
it's like a death wish.
What? Why did you think that was going to never catch up with? Why? What were you? I'm afraid to speed now.
Oh my God, absolutely. I'm a cruise control guy.
I mean,
my kids are like that. You drive like a grandmother. Hey, don't worry about it.
If somebody starts to try and talk to me about fraud, I'm like, no, I can't be a part of this conversation. I bolt.
Dude, it's crazy. So I get the extra money, and now they're really pissed because I stopped picking up their phone calls. I'm like, I cannot do this shit. This is killing me. The anxiety attacks, the panic attacks, oh my God, the threats. So they send me some videos.
I was just going to ask about the video.
So they start sending me videos on email and threats on email, which is not the smartest thing to do.
But they feel pretty. They're also in Venezuela. They feel pretty safe.
What are you gonna do? So they send me these videos, and what I love about this is that it's all public record. So it's all on my file if they go to my criminal case. And one of the videos is this guy in prison, and they pay these inmates to take turns him. And they are videotaping this, saying, this is what's going to happen to you. This is what's going to happen to you. So they send me that video. And I was like, well,
yeah, not if I don't come back.
Not exactly how I plan to spend my Saturday, but then they do murder for hire. So it's this guy that is in a barber shop, And they're recording this thing. And this guy from a motorcycle gets off the motorcycle, walks into the barber shop, shoots the guy in the head, walks out. And then they send a message like, this is what's going to happen to you. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is crazy. Now we're talking about, this is happening 2009, 2010. And then the feds reach out to me for my fraud case, for everything that I have been doing on real estate. Not even this. To this point, I'm not thinking anything criminal about this. This is normal. Like a lot of people get money, on a briefcase, go to the bank, and then don't pay it back and get death threats. But this is, worst thing that can happen is maybe a lien on my properties,
So the feds thing, do you know that there's a federal investigation into these loans? Because all of these loans, maybe not all of them, but most of the loans that you had packaged and sold
80% defaulted.
Are defaulting. Because there's either nobody associated with it, it's a completely fictitious person, or the people that are in there couldn't afford the payments.
So I get letters from Fannie Mae. I mean, I got a letter that said that I was banned for life. From doing anything related to loans backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac,
You've got bigger problems.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, yeah, listen, my ex-wife just divorced me, so I'm probably banned from life from that too, know? And I keep getting these letters, but I never got a target letter. Never, ever got a target letter. Mm-hmm. And my attorney, who was a moron, used to tell me, as long as you don't get a target letter, you're not a target.
I've never gotten a target letter.
You never got a target letter either?
Multiple times I've been arrested from the feds.
And he's like, did you get a target letter? No. Then you are not a target. And I'm like, well, it makes sense. You figure they will announce it to you.
Yeah, never had one drug dealer or bank robber or anybody say, well, I knew I was in trouble when I got the letter.
When I got my target letter.
Yeah.
So I do get a citation to go to the United States Attorney's Office over in Fort Lauderdale in Las Olas Boulevard. And I go there, and I go with this moron attorney, 2009, almost 2010. And there is a prosecutor, 2 agents, Sinatra and Sullivan. And they start talking to me. Dude, I have a funny story that I'm going to tell you after that. They start talking to me like, listen, do you know anything about this case? Do you know anything about this? And I'm like,
these are your clients.
These are all the loans that are defaulting.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean if I know anything about this? Yeah. What do you know about this? And I said, I don't know anything about that. I mean, those are clients. You got their names there. Call them. And my prosecutor looked at me and said, all right. So you're not going to cooperate? I said, no. He said, okay. Just remember this. I gave you a chance. I said, all right, all right. I walked out, and my attorney told me, they got nothing on you, bro.
Oh my God!
If they had something on you, they would have arrested you right then and there.
What about the letter? What about
the files?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, they got nothing on me. So I walked out, and I'm like, eventually they're gonna have something on me.
Yeah.
So I gotta prepare. So I have never told you this, and you're gonna find it hilarious. So I filed my paperwork to become a citizen.
Okay.
To this point, I'm a legal permanent resident because I was traveling. I was moving money overseas. And when you're a United States citizen, you got to declare that you're a citizen when you move money overseas. But when you're a resident, you don't.
Okay.
You do, but you don't, So that's why I never became a citizen. So I said, okay, it's time to become a citizen. So I filed my paperwork on immigration. And then I flee. I become a fugitive. I go to New York. Hide in New York City. Hide on plain sight. Start selling art in Soho. Killing it, bro. Killing it. Making a killing.
I mean, what about your staff? And you just bolt. They just
bolt. Everything shuts down. Goodbye. We're done. Done. I'm flying. I'm fleeing. No, I have no money. I haven't paid them in months, So I'm out. I'm done. I get another cell phone. I keep this one on because I figure I gotta leave a way for them to leave me messages. If I disappear, then shit may hit the fan. But if they feel like they're, harassing me, I'm okay. And I start living my life. One day I get a phone call. Mr. Sanchez, we're calling you about your application for United States citizenship. I said, perfect. We want you to come down for an interview. I said, all right, no problem. You gotta go to the Bank of America building, downtown Orlando, 22nd floor. I said, well, that's weird because immigration is by the airport. But that's fine. Maybe they have a remote office, you know? So I go there, I get on the elevator opens up, and there is a sign that reads, United States Secret Service.
And you just stood in the elevator?
No! And I'm like, this is odd. Maybe there is like an immigration office inside, you know? So I walked out, I go to the reception, and I go, I have an appointment here.
Immigration?
Juan Sanchez, I'm supposed to meet this person. Yeah. Yes. Wait here, they're going to come and get you. So I'm waiting in the lobby. They come and get me, and it's an office like this, like what you see in the movies.
Yeah.
It's like the desk, 2 chairs, 1 chair. I sit here, 2 guys come in, guns, badges. My immigration forms. Okay, so it says here that you are a resident. Yeah, and you were born in Spain. Yeah. And you went to high school in Lake Worth, and you're married, but you're not got divorced, 2 kids. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, these guys are going over my application. Oh my God, and you work here. I have friends that work there. Oh really? Yeah. Oh, do you know this person? And we're having a super cool chat. And all of a sudden, they pull a bunch of files, and they go, okay, what do you know about these files? And I'm like, what I say? Is this related to my immigration case? And he goes, I think by now you know that it's not. I said, well, I think I have to call my attorney. They go, okay, of course, call him. So I step out, I call my attorney, I'm like, bro, I tell him what happens. I go, I thought the Secret Service took care of the president.
Yeah.
That's it. He goes, no, they investigate financial crimes. Get out of there.
Run!
Like, get out of there right now.
Run!
I said, okay. So I walked in and I said, listen, guys, I'm done. My attorney told me that I have to go, so I have to go. So they both looked at me and said, okay, you see that office over there? I said, yeah. He goes, that office is not an office. It's a storage unit. And half of the storage unit is your case. We have all your files in there. So sooner or later, we're going to get you. I said, all right. I got out, flew back to New York, and I said, man, it's a matter of time before they get me. And sure enough, a year and a half later, I get arrested. So
how do they arrest you? How's that? You're still selling art.
I'm still selling art. I'm dating this American girl, Cassandra. She's probably a lesbian now, too. That's what I do. And I'm dating Cassandra. We had a fight on Sunday, and I called her on Monday, and I'm like, listen, would you come to the apartment? I'm going to get some sushi, and we can talk, and why are we going to be mad? You know? She goes, okay, no problem. So I had this second floor apartment, and I called downstairs. I said, listen, I ordered some sushi. Let the sushi guy come in, and Cassandra's on her way, so let her come in. Yeah, no problem. So Cassandra comes in. She's with me in the living room. And I'm like, perfect. I'm going to get some sushi. I may even get laid. You know, things. This is a good Monday so far. Knock on the door. Chinese guy. I know it's not politically correct to say Chinese, but, you know. It
is what it is.
It's true crime. It could be worse. I could say Asian. Comes in with the sushi, gives it to me. I pay him. He walks out, close the door.
I feel like sushi is Japanese.
Yeah, sushi is Japanese. But the guy looked a little more Chinese. His eyes were a little more shocked. And then all of a sudden, and I go, what the fuck happened? So I'm looking at the bill. I'm like, did I pay the right amount? 18% tip? And then again, boom, 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 boom. And then I open the door. I tell her, listen, wait a second. I'm going to chew this guy's ass. I open the door and I get 2 hands. I later learned they couldn't go into my house. They didn't have a warrant. They had a warrant for my arrest.
Right.
But they didn't have a warrant to search my house. So I could have just told them, what do you want?
Right.
You know, but I opened the door and they grabbed me and yanked me out of the house. And I'm like, oh my God. So I looked up and you know the show. I mean, I looked up and there's like a bunch of guys pointing at me. And then I looked down and there's a bunch of guys pointing guns at me. And then they say NYPD and the guy says, NYPD with a paper with my picture. You're Juan Sanchez, right? And yeah, we had a warrant for your arrest and you have an order of extradition to Florida. And all of a sudden, Ronald Sullivan, the agent that I met a few years ago, comes out of the line of people. And he looked at me and he said, you thought I wasn't going to get you, huh? And I said, no, I knew you would.
Right.
I just didn't know when, but I knew you would. He goes, okay, go back in. Do you have drugs? No. Do you have weapons? No. Do you have money? Stash? No. Okay. Come in. I look like now I walk in, bunch of policemen and agents comes in the apartment, and this girl is sitting on the couch like. So I said, she doesn't know anything about it. Just let her go. So they took her name, and when she was walking out, I said, listen, call my brother. Tell him that I got arrested. And so she'd look at the agents, and she's like, listen, he hasn't eaten anything. Can you make sure he eats something?
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, because right now I'm so hungry. Like my appetite just, all of a sudden opened up. So she walked out, and standard, You know you're going to die in prison. You know you're never going to see the light of day. You know we finally caught up to you. You should have cooperated before. Now you're going to get 100 million years. Da-da-da-da-da. And I get driven to Brooklyn, New York. I know my ex-wife, and we have talked about this. I know my ex-wife hates when I talk about this. But a couple of weeks before that, nobody knew where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
So, not because I didn't want anybody to know my address. Even my kids, when they visited New York, we stayed at hotels. But a couple of weeks before that, she called me and she goes, listen, I need your address. And I said, what do you need my address for? She goes, well, because the kids keep going to New York and I don't know where you live. And I said, well, but I don't stay in my house. I stay in a hotel and you always know where I stay. She goes, well, maybe I'm going to send you flowers. So I need your address. And I said, oh, shit. They got to her.
Mm-hmm.
They got to her and she's going to set me up. And I said, well, this is my address. This is where I live. She said, okay, all right.
You gave her the real address?
Yeah, I said, I need my kids, 2 weeks later, boom, I get busted. So the first podcast that I did, my kids go to her and go, oh, Mom, you have to watch this. So weeks go by and she doesn't watch it. She finally sits there and she's like, I sat there and I have a great relationship with her right now. And she's like, I sat there with a glass of wine and I said, I'm going to watch this. And then it gets to the part about me, she goes, I didn't sell you out. And I said, listen, I have no hard feelings.
Yeah.
Actually, if you would have called me, I would have told you to sell me out.
Yeah.
But the agents had your cell phone number. And the agents were the ones that told me, like, listen, you know how we found you, right? She's like, yeah, but so until this day, we have that debate. And I keep telling her, like, relax. I don't have, the kids think it's funny. Like, everybody thinks it's funny, She's like, well, no, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that.
You know that my ex-wife.
Is the same thing?
It's just, what is that she knew, like, everything that's happening. And, of course, as soon as I get in trouble, what she tells everybody is, I had no idea. It's like, and then if I actually told you all of the things and she, I don't remember any, I didn't do any of that. I didn't do that. I never made that phone call. I never answered that person. I never filled that out. I never did that.
It's like they think can get prosecuted.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's not a big deal. It's you're fine.
Because slowly but surely she has dropped the agents used to come by the house all the time and ask me questions. And I was like, I don't know. And they will show me bank accounts. And so I'm like, okay, you obviously had several meetings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at some meetings it was like, well, if you don't tell us where he's at, we're going to take you in. Which is fine. But one day, maybe on her deathbed, she will call me in and say, I saw you out. But until then, we'll stick to that story. So they arrest me.
You should, after this comes out, you should tell her, hey, you need to watch this. Go to this timestamp. I straightened it all out. I told everybody you didn't have any idea.
You know what's funny? She's now married to an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Super cool dude. Love him to pieces. And I keep thinking, I wonder if they saw this podcast together. And at the part where I'm like, yeah, and she sold me out. He was like...
Listen, my ex-wife...
Are you capable of that?
My ex-wife and I have a great relationship. We just bought a truck. He runs a Toyota dealership. He's like the GM or whatever. Mm-hmm. We went there and we just bought like a $40,000 truck from him.
Nice.
Yeah, I can text him. Like I sent him a Christmas present.
Yeah. Oh, listen, Father's Day, I sent him a bottle of scotch.
Yeah.
Super cool dude.
Very good guy. Much better. Listen, much better husband than I ever could have been.
100%. And I was like... We spent Father's Day together, like me and him and my ex-wife. And I always tell her, listen, this guy, he's the dude.
Yeah.
He's perfect for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, this guy was in the military for 6 years. He's
Structure.
He's Puerto Rican. He's a tough guy, you know. But to be honest with you, like he's doing some serious time right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, with
No.
her, I mean that's.
Is he
I'm
more
not tough
structured than
enough.
you?
Oh yeah. No, he's former military. He's like
Yeah.
he was like a Marine for 6 years. Like he's a tough guy. She could beat me down. She could just it was. I don't like thinking about it, bro.
Yeah,
it was
it's
rough. I was prepared for prison.
100%.
Like this is nothing. I was married to a Puerto Rican chick for 3 years.
Listen, I just last time I saw her, she called me. She's like, "We gotta talk." I was already doing well. I'm doing financially well, thank God. And she calls me. She's like, "We need to talk about the kids." I said, "Yeah, let's meet at Starbucks." She goes, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're making money, bro. I'm gonna tell you where we're gonna meet to talk about the kids. We're gonna meet at this French cafe." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, we'll meet there." But she's a really cool girl, and he's an amazing guy. So I get arrested. I get arrested in Brooklyn, which has made me famous now.
Really?
Ironically, and people don't know a lot of stuff. I'm gonna start milking this thing. I get arrested and I go to Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, which just so happens is the house of Puff Daddy. That's not what made me famous.
Thank God.
No, thank God. I use baby oil for other purposes. Epstein was there, also not the reason. But Maduro is there, who happens to be the former or like dictator of Venezuela.
Yeah.
So I'm the only Venezuelan with a big mouth, bilingual, that has been at MDC. So I've come out in a couple podcasts talking about, listen, let me tell you what he's going through. This is the uniform. This is the meals. I even posted the national menu on my Instagram account, and I said, listen, so you want to know what he eats? Wednesday's burger, Thursday's chicken, Friday's fish, period. It doesn't matter where he's at. That's what he's going to get. So I'm becoming viral because of that. I mean, people that hated me and didn't even know me are calling me now like, would you give us an interview for about an hour, bro, about what you know? So you never know.
Do you get a paid attorney? Do you get a public defender? What is he telling you?
I never got a public. Did you get a public defender?
Yeah, of course.
Man, you're so cheap.
I had no money. They wouldn't let me use any of the money I stole from
I got
them.
my piece of shit attorney that told me I didn't have a target letter.
Right.
He's still with me.
Did you tell him, what are we doing here?
He's still the guy. So I get my attorney. He goes there and he's like, he sees my indictment. You know, I'm already arraigned in New York. So now I'm going for my, first hearing. And he goes, is any of this indictment truth? I said, a lot of it is true.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody that can testify against you? I said, a lot of people. I said, all right. I suggest we don't go to trial.
You're brilliant.
Thank you. I think you should plead guilty. And you shouldn't get more than, if you cooperate right now, 4 years. I said, by the way, 4 years to me was a long time.
Really?
I was like, I don't know if I can make it 48 months, without going Epstein. And he said, well, but we'll negotiate with the prosecutor and I'll get you an audience with them so you can tell them what you know and see if you can help them. All right. So I get my first hearing with the prosecutor, who's now retired, Tom Lanigan. And dude, he walks in and he's like, I want to make sure you never see the daylight. You're going to die in prison. And I'm like,
You filled out some paperwork.
you want me, like in 4 years, I'm going to die in prison? I mean, my lifespan is that short. Later I found out that he had investments in Fort Lauderdale, and he blames his property going to shit on my little scam. $39 million scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Really, if anything,
Everybody makes a
you
mistake.
helped raise the property value.
Well, I thought I lowered his taxes. His assessed value went down, so his property taxes went down. So he never thanked me for that.
Yeah,
He doesn't know math.
He's a glass is half empty kind of guy.
Former FBI agent, you know how these guys are.
Yeah.
Some of them become your guests on your podcast, other becomes prosecutors. They eat picture on poison.
You know what my favorite is though? When when I get the phone call and the guy's like, listen, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I think I'd be great on your podcast. I can fly down. And I'm thinking, are you pitching me? I'm coming on. You're on my It's like this is a very odd situation where law enforcement is trying to convince me to let me on their podcast, on my podcast. I'm like,
That's
this
crazy.
It's insane. That's insane.
Then now doesn't it make you think that they become law enforcement because not all of them, because they want some kind of significance, they want some kind of spotlight? Because I will keep I
don't think all of them, but I think some of them probably enjoy. I don't, most people. First of all, if you're an FBI agent or Secret Service, whatever, I think you have to have a certain amount of confidence, and with a certain amount of confidence, I think comes, you want to be acknowledged for what you've done.
Recognition.
Yes. So in that way, I think so. Every law enforcement agent. None of them have come on that have been bad or boring. And I'm sure many of them could be probably real have benign stories or something. But the guys that have all come on are very good storytellers. And we've never had anybody on that we were like, boy, that sucks.
But then you feel like when they arrested you, did you see their faces? They're like gloating. It's like a hunter caught its prey.
Yeah.
Like my agents.
They love it. They love it.
They were taking pictures of me handcuffed and sending it to the prosecutor and all these people. And it's like, we got him.
Yeah.
We finally got him. I'm like, I was eating sushi in my apartment. Right. It's not like you hunt me down in the Amazons, And
we were jumping the rooftops.
Yeah, it wasn't like Jason Bourne,
right.
So this guy tells me for a year. My prosecutor tells me that I'm going to die in prison. And then I realize when I start meeting with the agents that they don't know anything about my case. I mean, obviously they got charges against me, but they don't know the how to. And that's the one thing that always amazed me, especially now that I've done work for criminal defense attorneys. The agents don't know how things happen. They know a crime was committed, but they don't know how you got the money, how you fill out the forms, where the false information was. All they knew is there were these loans, there was this real estate transaction, and the people never paid. So it must be false. That's it. And somebody said something. They have testimonies. So I had to sit down with a laptop and kind of like a Excel spreadsheet and tell them, listen, this is how I did it. This is where the money's at. This is where, they didn't know how to read that settlement statement. So listen, this is where this here doesn't exist. This is not real. I created that. So I figured with all this help, with this tutorial, I should get probation, maybe an ankle monitor, So they come with a standard 30-year offer.
Oh.
Here's your 30 years, sign, and you'll be out when you are 80. I mean, you're still young, and Viagra is hot right now. And so I'm like, no, I'll go to trial. For 30 years, I'll go to trial.
For 30 years is the max. Why would I? That's not a deal.
But this is my attorney, my super cool attorney negotiating. So he comes with a second offer. This is 18 years. And this is the problem, he goes. If you don't sign that one, they're saying that they're going to put your oldest daughter on your indictment. They're going to supersede you. And I said, why? And he goes, because they found some money that was transferred from the business account to her personal account. So they're claiming that some of the funds, there was commingling. Some of the funds where she knew about it. Even if she didn't, it doesn't matter. But they're threatening to put her in your indictment.
Yeah. They'll say that she knew. Yeah, and they can do that because they'll say
and they can give her time.
Matter of fact, did you ever read the book Orange is the New Black?
Of course.
Right. So yeah, she received, I think it was $4,000. And she got $4,000. She withdrew it, and she gave the $4,000 to somebody. And she actually
didn't even keep it.
Right. She actually did know that she was paying someone for a courier service to bring drugs. But in her mind, it was, my girlfriend said, can I send you some money and give it to Jennifer? And she was like, sure. Like she never put it together like, wait a minute, I'm now a part of a conspiracy and I'm paying a courier for moving drugs. Therefore, I'm now a part of the conspiracy. Most people wouldn't think that. And
the other thing
she went to jail.
And the other thing most people don't know is that this person here is going to testify.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to say, she knew.
Yeah.
So I can get less time.
Right.
The more people in the crime, the less time everybody gets.
Right.
So I signed 18 years. I get my probation officer.
But you're thinking, or you are thinking you're signing for 18, but you're thinking I cooperated.
I'm gonna get 4.
You're still thinking 4? Or
My attorney's still telling me 4.
At this point, you have to know your attorney's an idiot, right?
Well, the other inmates told me. I signed 18, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. This is just a plea offer. This is a plea agreement."
And are they also telling you like you're white collar criminal? You have no record. Like you guys don't get any
Once
time.
you see your probation officer and he does your
PSI?
your PSI, he's gonna see that that's too much. So I go back to my cell and I'm like, well, I signed 18 years, blah, blah, blah. But my attorney says for a year, and you know how convicted felons are. Bro, you're gonna get 18 years, bro. You sign. And I'm like, no, my attorney, bro, you don't know shit. You used to sell on the streets, bro. My attorney, who went to college.
You have a prison GED, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. Your nickname is Bubba, Big
Right.
Bubba. Bro, my attorney went to college. He says 48 months. This is just a protocol. So I go to my probation officer. He does my interview. Even my probation officer was like, wow, 18 years? I'm like, you're supposed to drop it to 4. Let's do this. So she starts talking to me and she's like, listen, I'm going to recommend 15 years. I said, I think the 4 years are supposed to come at the bottom, not at the top.
Right.
You know, she goes, I'm going to recommend 15 years. It's the only thing I can do. Dude, and I started like bawling. I started crying. And she's like, dude, I mean, you signed 18?
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot drop it from 18 to 4. I said, tell me what to do. And dude, she was amazing. She said, listen, I'm just a probation officer. I cannot advise you. This is the only thing I can tell you. And I shouldn't tell you this. I've been in front of that judge many times. That judge hates the word mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say, I made a mistake. I was wrong. No. You have to go and own it. And maybe he will give you less time. Maybe he won't. But at least he's not going to give you the 18 years that you signed for because he could do that. All right.
Are you thinking like 5? You went in, you cooperate, you laid it all out. I mean, I'm assuming is she recommending a 5K1?
Nothing.
Oh,
nobody's recommending
been arrested.
anything. Nobody's been arrested. Nothing is happening. And I think my attorney's not pushing for this thing because the dates were kept in calendar. Like, you know, when people are cooperating, they keep moving like the sentencing date, the sentencing date, the sentencing
Right.
date. No, this was like right on point. So I'm like, okay.
He's just trying to move this process along
He
as
just
quick as
wants
possible.
to get it out of the way and
Right.
get the next client. So I go in front of the judge, Judge Slock, who happens to be retired now too. And he looked at me and he said, he had like the whole case in front of him. And he goes, dude, you're a very smart young man. Why did you commit this crime? I said, well, because smart people do stupid things. You know, I'm not exempt. He said, that's a good answer. All right. So he started, making his notes, and they pull out a calculator, which is if you have ever been to a sentencing hearing, right?
Yeah,
Colby, you are in the middle of knowing how much time you are gonna get, and these guys pull out a calculator, and they're like, thank God he doesn't have like the little paper thing, and he's like, I'm gonna sentence you to 180 months. And I was like 15 years.
Yeah.
So my attorney turned around and looked at me and he goes, hey, not that bad, huh? And I said, not that bad. Are we splitting the 15 years? Like, are you doing 7.5 and I'm doing 7.5? He goes, well, I know you're upset right now. But
You said 4.
yeah, but I'll go to the prison and I'll talk to you and then we'll talk about the strategy later. He never showed up. I never heard from him again.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's not you, it's me. So I go to Miami FDC. I get back there and I'm like, listen, I got 15 years. And one of the guys that is in prison, he's like, oh my God, I can't believe it, Yeah, it is what it is. I had already done like 10 months, 11 months. And he goes, you should call my attorney. My attorney will probably help you with your case because that's a lot of time. I said, I don't have money. I don't have anything. What am I going to call your attorney for? He goes, no, you should call him. He's really good, really good. His name is Paul Petruzzi. I said, okay, what's his number? He goes, well, I'm going to go to my cell and then I'll give it to you. Dude, he goes into his cell. There is a fight. They lock us down. I'm like, shit, I didn't get the number. They pack him out. And I'm like, fuck. I know it's Paul Petruzzi, but how? I mean, it's not like we have Google. Dude, we're on lockdown, and the book card, comes by, and I go, hey, listen, I want that book, and it was Chicken Soup for the Prisoner's Soul. By the way, don't ever read it if you're in prison. It's like a book, and I get the book, and I'm reading Chicken Soup for the Prisoner's Soul, and all of a sudden I pass the page, and a card falls off, and it's Paul Petruzzi, his phone number.
Whoa.
I'm like, this is it.
This is the guy. This is the guy.
This is a sign.
Jesus is throwing me a...
They open the cell. I go into our email thing. What was it called?
Yeah, Corlinks.
Corlinks. I go into Corlinks, put his information, send him an email. Listen, this is my case number. You were highly recommended. I need to talk to you about my case. He goes, okay, I'll be there in 3 days. All right. He brings me down. And he goes, well, I talked to your, I don't like to waste time. I talked to your prosecutor. And I said, yeah, and there's nothing you can do. He says you're going to do 15 years. And if he could have, he would have given you more. He goes, I don't know what you did to him, but he hates you. I said, okay.
Well, thank you for coming by.
You could have sent me an email with that.
Yeah.
He goes, no, I just wanted to talk to you, get to know you, you know. But you have nothing. There is no point for you to hire me. I said, all right, well, thank you for coming, man. He goes, but we have some time. Talk to me about you. Where are you from? What do you do? How did you get into this? So I go, well, I'm from Venezuela, but I grew up in the United States, so I really don't have much connections there. But so I tell him the story. I'm like, and then 2007 comes around and the crisis, and this is when I started breaking the law. And all of a sudden, this guy comes into my office, and he tells me, I got some money to bail you out. And he goes, stop right there. You mean to tell me that there was a Venezuelan guy that walked into your office and told you he had some money for you to launder? I said, well, he didn't say launder. Mm-hmm. But yeah. He goes, what's his name? So I say his name. And he goes, you know this guy? I said, yeah. You have his contact information? I said, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I have his passport. I have his ID. I have his visa denial. I have his bank accounts. I have everything on my email. He goes, this guy is the #1 most wanted guy right now by the Secret Service. He has direct connections to the Venezuelan government. If you can give me all that information, I can get you out of prison. And I said, let's do it. He goes, yeah, it's going to be $45,000. I need $10,000 to start the case. And I'm like, all right, why don't we do this? Get me out of prison.
I'm good for it.
And I'll work my ass off, bro. And I'll promise I'll pay you. And I'm still good friends with my attorney. And he looked at me and he goes, bro, don't worry about it. And he tapped me and he said, I'll see you in 15 years. And I said, and I'm like, stop. All right, okay. I'll get you them. I'll figure something out, but I'll get you the money. I'll get you the 10,000 at least to start working on the case. All right. So I go up and I talk to one of the people in Chow, during Chow. And I said, man, I need 10 grand. And he goes, you should pray. I said, and then,
right.
I mean, how does it work? I don't mind the praying part. How does this work? Would I get the money in the bank or do I just get it on tunas one day and then I sell the tunas? He goes, I don't know. Maybe you should pray and you'll get the answer. So I go to my cell, 9 o'clock. I said, well, let me pray. So I start praying. And then the morning after, I'm like, I got it. So I sent a cord links to my sister-in-law. And like, listen, I need you to send me my list of Facebook friends. I'm going to delete some. I'm going to keep some. And you're going to post this story. So I write this email saying like, listen, I know you haven't heard from me in about a year. It's because I've been in prison. This is my case number if you want to investigate. This is my judge. I had an attorney who screwed me over and got me 15 years. I now have an attorney that is charging me $45,000. I don't have the money. And I've lost everything. I lost money. I lost friends. I lost family. And today I'm surrendering the only thing that I'm holding on to, which is my dignity. I need help. If you can help me with a prayer, with comfort or with cooperation, whatever, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I'm here for you. Blah, 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 blah. That back on those days, there was no Instagram, there was no GoFundMe, there was no nothing.
It's Facebook.
That shit went viral. Viral. I mean, people, now that I'm out of prison and I read my Facebook from those years, people were doing garage sales. They were doing baked good sales. They were doing door-to-door collecting. And they paid $45,000. They paid my attorney. Facebook paid my freaking attorney, bro. Paul used to tell me, get your shit together. I'm getting checks for like $17, $15. I'm not a charity, bro. They either put all that money in an account and transfer it to me, but I'm not gonna be able. My accounting girl is going crazy with your bill. So they paid my attorney, and I start cooperating, not on my case, but on this new case with this guy. So they assign a new prosecutor, which is Dick Gregory, amazing guy. And I have new DEA agents, and now I'm like this high-profile witness. And I remember my attorney was like, listen, bro, I'm not going to go with you to any debriefings. You're too good. You're so good at talking that I'm just going to be on the way. I need to let you roll with that ball. You're good.
Plus, they already got you for your case. You're already done. You're not going to talk yourself into another indictment.
Well, but it's so funny because first time I go into a meeting, I'm shackled and I'm chained and I'm walking in all chained up. And then they're introducing themselves and they're like, agent whatever, DEA, agent whatever, FBI. Then I had somebody HSI. And then I had somebody IRS. And then somebody, and I said, well, you all know me. I'm Juan Sanchez, BOP. And they start laughing. And they're like, oh my God, this guy has jokes. And so we sit down and we start talking. And they're like, you're a great witness. You have never done drugs. You are not a drug dealer. You know where the drug money came from. It went through your accounts. You know exactly where it went. You are the right guy. We need to set up the case, and we need to open an indictment. We need you to testify in the grand jury. So I said, all right. He goes, well, this is how it works. You're going to go there. There is no judge. You have a panel here. You have an audience. They're going to listen to your story. And based on that, I'm going to ask you some questions. And based on that, they're going to figure out whether there is a federal case or not. All right? All right. I said, are they going to dress me up on like street clothes?
All right.
And the prosecutor was like, no. I said, I'm going to walk in chain? Yeah. So my question was like, aren't they going to think I'm a criminal? And the guy's like, you are a criminal. You're a criminal that is cooperating because you may get a sentence reduction. They know you broke the law.
Right.
So I went there, testified. We got an indictment open. And then, as you know, I said, okay, where's my discount? I got it. They say, no, it doesn't work like that. We need to arrest somebody. If we don't arrest somebody, you don't get anything. I said,
well, this guy's in Venezuela.
I said, well, I mean, I'll issue, in a metaphor, I'm like, okay, you took me out, you fucked me, and because I didn't let you come inside, now I get no flowers? Right. Yeah, basically that's kind of how it is. So they're in Venezuela, they cannot be extradited, they're protected. So I tell my prosecutor, what if I get them out? He goes, can you do that? I said, yeah, I can get them out.
What do you mean get them out?
Get him out of Venezuela.
And get him here?
Well, not here. I said, I can get him to Aruba. And he said, no, Aruba, no. Get him to Costa Rica. Can you get him to Costa Rica? I said, in a heartbeat. Just get me a cell phone inside of the prison. And send me to the SHU.
Right.
I'll do it there.
Why do you think that's possible?
Because these guys are so stupid.
Right.
They know I'm already in prison.
Okay.
I would have called him and said, listen, bro, I'm in prison. But I left $2 million in Aruba and I need somebody to go get him.
Right.
I'll give you all the information. I'll send you a power of attorney. Go to the bank, and he would have done it because they're greedy. They're stupid greedy. That's why they get busted now. Did you see? Maduro has $5 billion in gold in a Swiss bank. Why would you have that much gold? These guys are just greedy because they're greedy. So the guys look at the agent and they're like, nah, we're not going to do that. Give us another option. And I said, I have an idea. This guy wants to come to Orlando to bring his kid to Disney, but they denied his visa.
Who is this, by the way?
This
You
is
keep saying this guy.
The judge that is...
What's the judge's name?
Benny Palmieri.
Benny Palmieri. Okay. And why does he want, how do you know he wants to?
Because he applied for a visa.
Okay.
And got denied.
Okay.
And he emailed me like, you need to get this shit fixed. I'm like, I'm not the Department of Justice. Back on the days.
Yeah.
I said, this guy got denied his visa. If you call him right now and you tell him that his visa got approved, he'll get on the next flight to Venezuela, to Orlando, with his kid and his family to go to Disney. The agents are looking at me like, are you fucking serious? I said, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. All right. Bro, about a month later.
What do they do? Have the embassy mail him a letter?
I found out about a month later, I'm sitting there and they called me to go to medical in Miami. I go downstairs to medical and they're bringing the new inmates that just got arrested. And who's there in the lineup? Benny Palmieri. Shuckle.
Did you say
The guy that kidnapped me. Benny! The guy that kidnapped me. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm looking at the wall. I'm looking down. Even the CEO is like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't want to go to medical. I don't think I want to go to medical. I think I want to go back to my unit. They're like, are you sure? I said, 100%. I decline. Tell them I decline. So they sent me back to the unit. I called my attorney and I'm like, bro, do you have news for me? He goes, no. I said, I got news for you. He goes, what? I said, they arrested Benny Palmieri. He goes, call me back in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I hung up. I called him back. He said, you're packing out tomorrow. They're packing you out. Well, later in his indictment, I find out that the embassy called him and told him, Mr. Palmieri, you know that we denied your visa 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It was a mistake. Your visa was approved. It was a mixed up of paperwork. We need you to come in and get your passport stamp. So I'm sure he told his family, like, we're going to Disney World! Got the passport stamps, got on the next flight. When he landed in Orlando, the agents arrested him. Yeah, not a pretty picture. So he gets arrested, charges for extortion, drug trafficking, on and on and on. He did, how much time did you do?
13.
I did 9. He did...
You did 9 for how much money?
For $39 million.
I did 13 for a loss of $6 million.
Oh, don't feel bad. Jordan Belfort did, I think, 3 for 120.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just met him. I just had an event with him.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big guy. I'm a big shot.
Fucking, you know how long I've been trying to get in touch with Belfort so I can do an interview with him?
Dude, we just did a sales event. We just did, he was a guest on my seminar.
Do you have his contact information?
Of course I do.
What
We're tight.
We have to talk here.
You think you're the only one that has grown? Come on, bro.
So what? So.
By the way, when I met Matthew Cox, not in prison, when I got out of prison, this guy was the first guy that gave me an exposure to what was happening in the world. Okay, because usually most people don't, and this could be a whole podcast. Most people don't know that when you get out of prison, you're completely lost.
Yeah.
You are like, I don't understand, bro. What is going on? I got this thing in my hand, and it's called. They say it's iPhone, but it's. I remember I used to tell my kids, "Can you face call me?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Dad, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Face call. I want to do a face call with you." They were like, "It's FaceTiming," you know. So you start calling people that have been out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need somebody to play catch up with me. And if you go back to his episodes, go back to like 5 years ago, you'll see this episode. But I remember I called like a couple of friends and, dude, hey, what's going on, bro? Well, you know, I'm back in the game, bro. I'm back in, no, clock. Thank you, don't call me. Delete this phone call, you know? So I called Matt and I'm like, I'm out. Dude, and he's like, oh, you have to come and I have this podcast. And he had run the podcast from your apartment.
Yeah.
Not even the house, from his apartment. And it was hilarious because you would walk in and you had the kitchen and then you had like
Studio.
a studio. you know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't these cameras or these lights or any of that. And he's like, man, you should have a YouTube channel and you should do the same thing that I'm doing. And he showed me the laptop. This is how he used to edit his own videos. And he's like, listen, this is how I edit. And I cut here and I put the voice in, blah, 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 blah.
And he ignored everything I said.
And I didn't do shit. I said, Matt doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. You know, he'll be in prison in no time. He'll be back in no time.
I'm going to get back into real estate.
I'm going to start buying some cheap properties and flipping them. But one of the conversations, because you walk out of prison all screwed up. People don't know how messed up you walk out of prison. But one of the things that you cannot do is you cannot get a hard-on. You cannot get an erection when you walk out of prison because you spend.
I remember this phone call.
Remember that?
This phone call, yes.
and you are like, because you when you're in prison, that's one of the things that you promise the prison gods. God, you let me out of here, I'll fuck everybody. I will have no mercy. No, there will be no ugly if he walks and breathes, I'm doing her. And then you walk out of prison and you're like, okay, this is
And
not,
you're in your 40s.
this is not part of the deal. You come on, bro. We said you get me out and I'll do the, you know. And I call Matt and I'm like, bro, I don't know if this is normal, but this is what's going on. And he's like, yeah. I remember his term, I still use it today. He said, oh, were you just pushing the rope?
So was it like you were pushing rope?
And I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah. So it was amazing because it's very cool to see how much he's grown, you know. Now he has the studio and it's all because of me, because of those episodes that I did at the beginning. That I gave him the platform to grow to this size of a podcast that he currently has.
Fellas, you already know what time it is. It's time to level up. And Blue Chew just dropped something crazy. Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standard for performance. We're talking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to turn up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves underneath your tongue and works in as little as 15 minutes. That means you can get it on quicker and stay in the game longer. This is peak passion and peak performance in a single tablet. Next time she texts you up, answer with a picture of Blue Chew. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code COX. That's promo code COX. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring this podcast. How much time did Benny get?
He got 6 years, ended up doing 4.
Oh, man.
It's like he has all these fucking charges, but he came in talking.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan came in talking.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he talked before he went in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't. So
I did.
before you went in?
No. I mean, I got arrested and then started cooperating.
Correct.
Yes.
But these guys, when they approached them, they started talking.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Before they was even like, listen, we're investigating you. Are you willing to cooperate? Because that's how they approached me the first time, and I said no.
Right.
If I would have cooperated, I probably would have gotten those 4 years that he was talking about. So these guys are doing very little time. So I'm packing out tomorrow because you cannot be on the same prison.
Yes.
His words were, you're contaminating the case. I said, all right, that's perfect. So I pack out. And
Or
then,
this guy could start telling everybody, hey, this is the guy that fucking ratted me out, and now you're in trouble.
And this is something that maybe people on your podcast don't know, or they know because I've heard you talk about it. When somebody snitches on you, you know who it is because the feds tell you.
Yeah.
You know Tom? Yeah, he's talking about you. So I'm sure they told him, you know Juan Sanchez? Yeah, he said everything. He knows it. I'm on his indictment.
Yeah. You're done.
On his indictment, I show as JCS, real estate broker, owner of real estate schools. They're keeping my privacy, so, you know. And so they packed me out. And this is how, that's when I meet Matt Cox. And actually, yeah, I met you the second time. I was already back and forth between Coleman and Miami. Because I cooperated, they sent me back to Coleman, and then I came back and they arrested him, and I went to a grand jury and the whole thing. But when they sent me back to Coleman is when my kidnapper was there. Remember the Colombian drug lord?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So they packed me out. They sent me to Coleman, and Benny starts cooperating, and now you lose touch. You don't know what's going on. I'm still not getting my reduction because my reduction has to be approved by my prosecutor who hates me.
Right.
And my prosecutor is telling my attorney, listen, if he brings Bin Laden, I don't give a shit. He's doing 15 years.
This fucking guy.
Yeah,
right?
this guy is like... So I go back to Coleman and I meet this Colombian drug lord. And he goes, you're Juan Sanchez? Yeah. Bro, you're getting us all out of prison. My attorney just called me and told me that you testified on this. And that was my money.
Hey,
And
right?
I'm like,
Would you be like, huh? Well, you're
I'm like,
hey.
listen, you know, and I'm like, you kidnapped me. You were the one. He's like, yeah, I was the one that told these guys because the money that you stole was mine. So I told them to kidnap you because I wanted my money back. And I'm like, why did you do that, bro? You could have just called me. I had the Range Rovers on my driver,
Right.
you know. And he's like, yeah, but you know, everybody starts snitching, so everybody keeps getting busted in this lineup. So we became, I wouldn't say good friends, but we are, you know, it's prison. Everybody's there.
Yeah.
And I remember walking on the red yard and telling me, oh, my kidnapper's there. Let me go and say hi to him. So I will go and say hi to him. And we'll sit down and we'll talk. And it was just insane. And my prosecutor was so upset at me that I cooperated on this case and I could get off maybe with less time, that he decided to do a custody level increase. And I get transferred from Coleman to Thompson USP. So they moved me to Thompson, Illinois, to a penitentiary for 10 months. Because it takes 10 months to make the corrections on custody levels, which is insane. It's like, what, you're in a penitentiary? Yeah, just file some paperwork, and on the next cycle, we'll move you again. So I get to Thompson, Illinois, USP for 10 months. And while I'm there, I get a phone call from my attorney. It has been 6 years since my arrest, 5 years since my cooperation. And I get a phone call from my attorney, and he says, pack out. You're coming to Miami. You're getting resentenced. You're going to get a Rule 35.
Nice.
And I'm like, shit, I'm going home, man. I'm like, time served. Time served. I'm going home. I call my kids, go to the courthouse. I have a hearing. Bring my clothes. I'm going home. So I get packed out. I go to the courthouse. My attorney's like, dude. I said, how do you feel? Are you confident? He goes, no, I've never done this before.
What?
I said, you've never done a hearing? He goes, no, I've done a million of those. I've never done a hearing where there is 3 prosecutors. I said, why are there 3? He goes, well, there is your prosecutor who hates you.
All right.
There is Dick Gregory who loves you.
Yeah.
But he's retired.
Uh-huh.
And there is Adam Phelps, who is the prosecutor of El Chapo Guzman.
Ooh.
And he's using his information for other cases. My information. So he loves you. So it's 2 against 1, but I'm going to have to argue with 3 prosecutors plus 2 agents.
Right.
So I don't know how this is going to be a shit fest. I said, all right, let's do it.
But you've already done 6 years.
I've
That's
done
a
6 years.
significant amount of time.
Yeah. So we go to the hearing. My prosecutor gets up and he tells the judge, I can't believe we find ourselves here. Are we really going to reward this guy because he's laundering money for the drug cartels and didn't tell us about it? I mean, he's the poster child for fraud. We need to make an example of him. If anything, he should have gotten more time. We already rewarded him with 15 years. And I'm sitting there going, and my kids are watching this. And this guy's like, he was a womanizer. He didn't only deceive people out of money, he manipulated women. And my kids are like bawling in the background. And I'm like, this was not, this is not the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So my attorney gets up, doesn't question him. He goes, I want to question the other 2 prosecutors.
Yeah.
And he started going, well, was his cooperation substantial? Absolutely. How high on ranking did it go? And they said, very high. How high in the Venezuelan government? Very high. High as in state attorneys? Yes. High as in vice president of the Venezuelan government? Yes. High as in the president? And he said, no, not that high. But his information led us to some other people that took us all the way there. All right, perfect. So the judge looked at me and he said, you're going to do 24 more months. You're going to do 2 more years. So they reduced my sentence to 114 months. So, of course, I didn't go home. But I went back to prison, did my 2 years.
Boy, that's a lot easier. Is that a lot easier?
Yeah, but no, because you go there thinking you're going to go home. I was thinking I was going to go home. So I got back and I was like devastated. And I'm like, shit, I put my life at risk. I put everybody's lives at risk and I'm not even going home. So I called my paralegal and I said, listen, she's like, how are you feeling? I'm like shit. And she's amazing. And she said, are you better now than you were then? I said, yeah. She goes, then I want to hear your shit.
Yeah.
Don't complain. You got 5 years of your sentence. Do them. Go home to your kids. I get out on June of 2020. And when I'm about to step out of prison, who comes around but ICE? ICE, baby. Come on, boy. Come here, boy. I go back into custody. This time, I'm going under the custody of ICE. And I spent 6 months on ICE detention.
Okay. Why? I mean,
Because I'm a resident.
Yeah.
I'm not a citizen, so I'm deportable.
Okay.
I commit a crime of moral turpitude. However, I cooperated with the government. So technically, my life is at risk.
You cooperated with the federal government against the Venezuelan government.
Correct. So my life is at risk.
Right.
So they're like, okay, that's fine.
Wait. And your just to be clear, your cooperation led to through the government and allowed them to obtain the cooperation of other people, which led to Maduro's indictment.
Correct. I mean,
so you couldn't be any more in danger.
Absolutely. And I have the threats and I have the videos and I have, so I go in front of
they've all seen the videos. The FBI, the Secret Service, everybody's seen the videos.
Everybody. So this is a crazy part. I go in front of the immigration judge with a case that is like 600 pages. I'm this arrogant prick. So I'm like, I'm going pro se. Because, listen, when I show this guy, like, this is a federal judge saying that they're going to kill me.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's a done deal.
It's a done deal. So the judge looks at all the evidence and he goes, I think you can go back to Venezuela. You're deported. Paka! And I'm like, oh, shit. So I now hire an attorney who appeals that decision, wins the appeal, and I get released from detention, from immigration detention, on December 23rd, 2020. But the crazy part is I don't get released because I won the appeal. I get released because of COVID.
Okay. Didn't you go to a detention center?
Yeah, I was 6 months in a detention center.
What happened in the detention center?
I'm fighting my case from the detention center, from the inside.
Right, but what happened with the other inmates when they realized that you cooperated?
No, that was in prison. That was my last prison? 2 years.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was the...
No, when I get my Rule 35, the federal system is so messed up. I get my Rule 35. I tell the judge, you cannot send me back to the penitentiary.
Right.
Because they already know that I packed out to go to prison.
Yeah.
To go to court, to testify. And you know how it is in a high custody prison.
Yeah. I can't go back to the fucking pen.
I can't go back to the pen.
You could go back to Coleman Low.
Oh, my God. And share the stories. Yeah. And go, score!
Gather round.
This is what's coming for you guys, too. But not to the pen. So they send me to a private prison, Geo, D. Ray James. And it's all like the Mexican mafia is there. Mm-hmm. And all the people from the Maduro's drug cartels are there. I mean, it's like everybody's there. So I start my last 2 years there. And somebody starts investigating my case. Mm. A little tutorial here for you all. There's a system called Pacer. Pacer is a system where you can access files of every case. Yeah. We have access to Pacer in prison, but a limited version of Pacer, like the prison version, like the kids. It has bumpers.
Yeah, where they're supposed to, supposedly supposed to sift through it and make sure that there's no mention of people that have cooperated in the accessible files to the inmates.
Correct.
And that doesn't always happen,
And
though.
in my case, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like if you put my name, it shows my involvement on this new case and my cooperation. So somebody put my name on that system and that case came up. So one day I'm walking out of education, which is where I worked, and there's this riot waiting outside of my unit. And before I walked in, one of the guards goes, "You're going to the SHU." I said, "What am I going to the SHU for?" They said, "Well, somebody snitched. And listen, what's going to happen to you today is not good. So we're removing you and we're sending you to the SHU. And then we're going to have to move you to another prison." So I went to the SHU, and it was supposed to be for 30 days, and then COVID hit. So they said, like, "Listen, we're not transferring any inmates, and we cannot put you back on population." So I did 6 months in the SHU. Then after that, they moved me to immigration.
Okay. So in immigration, you fought your case for you got denied. You hired an attorney, appealed it.
I won, but I won, and I still had to be detained. But COVID was going on, and they started releasing people from prison that had medical conditions.
Right.
So I see all these like old people being released, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they releasing this old man? He's gonna die on his way home. They gotta release me. I'm healthy. I can provide, you know? And I kept looking at the list of things, and they kept adding diseases. Like if you have, leukemia, you get released. If you have had cancer, you get released. And I'm like, well, I haven't had leukemia or cancer. And then out of a sudden, there's this case called Freihat versus ICE. And they released him because he had high blood pressure. And I was like, I have high blood pressure. I file a habeas corpus.
What about the clap?
I
had the clap twice.
Yeah, gonorrhea. How come gonorrhea is not here? And I get released from ICE, December 23rd, 2020. I arrived at my daughter's house, and it was an amazing. But then immigration comes back, and it's like, no. We want you out of the United States.
I thought you won the appeal.
Yeah, but now they open the case again, and they're like, no, we want you removed. I said, okay. So they open the case, and I don't like politics, so I don't do I don't like the politics of my country. I don't like the politics of any country. But it was the Biden administration at some point. So all the files kind of like sat in the back burner, including mine. But then they reopened the case, and I had to go to court on November. My last hearing was January, I want to say, of last year. Maybe January, February, April of last year.
Okay.
And it was already a different
atmosphere,
temperature. And so they're like, listen, no, you got to get out of the United States. You got to get out. And then the argument is always the same. Listen, they're going to kill him. It's not a matter of, it's a matter of safety. He cooperated with the government of the United States.
Yeah, it's not questionable. I already have the emails and the phone calls.
And the judge.
That specifically say, this is what we plan on doing to you when you get back.
Yeah, so my next hearing is coming soon, in a couple months, which is supposed to be like the sentencing hearing. Like, this is where we're going to decide what happens to you, whether you stay or whether you go, But anything can happen, They can move the hearing. It's just right now, the system is a disaster. So that's kind of like open still. And the temperature keeps getting a little hotter, So it is what it is. Meanwhile, they arrested Maduro, which could help me, or it could hurt me, because they could say, well, the guys that are going to kill him
are still in power, still there.
But they're angry, and they're upset at the people that created this, which is me. But then there's the other side of the story, which is they're saying like, well, don't worry about it. We'll send you to Angola. Nobody knows you there. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to Angola. I'll go to Cambodia. Based on the current evidence, I'll go to Cambodia. But I don't think Angola is where I want to go. So it's interesting. But it's a snowball that keeps growing, bro.
You can work online.
I mean, listen, I can have a podcast and interview criminals.
You could. Well, listen, otherwise.
Former criminals.
The problem is I can't do that remotely. You can, but they don't typically get great. What I was thinking is, anything you could do remotely, if you could do it from there, you could live very well. Because Cambodia, unlike Thailand, where Thailand, they're like, actually Thailand too. If you can show Thailand that you get X amount of dollars in a month.
It's like a nomad.
Right. And you show them that you've got, I think it's only like, if you have an average balance of like 20 grand and you can prove that you get in like $3,000 a month, it's like really very low. Then you can get a like permanent residency.
That's crazy.
But if you go to Cambodia, which isn't as westernized as Thailand, but it's still very nice. Like Boziak says, he's like, "Oh, I'm getting used to it, bro." It's great. And this is the thing. Either one of those countries, he's like super clean. Everybody's super polite, respectful. And you know what he looks like. Like he looks like a street guy.
Yeah.
And yet he said everybody, it's yes sir, no sir. They're very, because you're still American. He's like, and they think you have money. And
that's it.
Right. If they think you have money, they're just super polite to you. And he said the food's amazing because they don't have all the chemicals and they don't have all the junk that we've got in our food. Anyway, the point is that you sall the building he lives in. He lives like a king he lives like his bills don't come to, but probably $2,000 a month.
That's insane.
And that's him. He eats out all the time.
And he has a upper class lifestyle.
Yeah. He's got a ladyboy. He's got no.
That's wonderful. And they're cheap. In Cambodia, they're super cheap.
I always send him the ladyboy TikTok. But I'm saying in Cambodia, he's like, oh, listen, they don't care. You're coming here, you have money, you're spending money, you're renting a place, you're spending money here. He's like, they don't care. He's like, you can't get a job here working here, but if you can bring money in, he said, like working online or whatever, he said, you can stay. You're good.
You know what's crazy? That now I'm living this thing with like Maduro got arrested, and all of a sudden I put a post on my Instagram account saying like, I'm gonna tell you exactly where Maduro is at. Because with AI, they're posting all these videos. Like they showed a video of Maduro walking in the yard of the detention center, and I'm like, there's no yard in a detention center. So I said, I'm gonna set the record straight. He wears a uniform, it's orange. He gets his trays through a little hole, back and forth. That video got 1.8 million views. All right, and he got me like 35,000 new followers on Instagram in one day. I mean, the numbers were like off the chain. So I realized that a lot of people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes in prison. Because I was telling them, there is corruption in prison. Mm-hmm. You didn't live it. I didn't live it. But we saw inmates with money.
Oh, they can live you're still in prison, but you can live, somebody's taking care of your bed, they're mopping your floor, they're working your job.
And if you're in solitary confinement, if you're in the SHU, you hire an attorney and you tell him, you're going to get me out every day for 4 hours for attorney-client visit. And we're going to sit down and we're going to shoot the shit, and you're going to bring me the newspapers, and we're going to eat some Doritos and drink some Coca-Colas, and you're going to send me back to my cell 4 hours later.
Listen to this. In the Medium, there was a guy there who had worked for Pablo Escobar. He had escaped and went to another country, but eventually the U.S. found him. You know who recognized him? His barber. He actually, it's funny because he had a hair transplant. So he had the cuts in the back of his head, shaved it. He came to the low.
Yeah, kind of light brown hair.
Yeah, but I knew him in the Medium. I mean, I knew him in the low too because
he was on my unit, Alpha 3.
Yeah, I would walk by him when I got to the low. I walked by him. We'd recognize it. He's like,
yeah.
I was like, that was it. But in the Medium, his lawyer would come with a paralegal. Right? And
why do you go paralegal?
Paralegal.
Yeah.
Because the attorney, you would go where the attorney room was. You had the big visitation room.
And then you have the little...
Yes, the little offices.
Uh-huh.
It was over here. And the guards would sit at the desk. They cannot see... They could see into the room, but just the corner. Right? So they could maybe see 3 feet of the wall. But you've got the whole nother... let's say 8 feet and the entire thing that you can't see. So here's what guys that worked in there told me was happening. They said the attorney comes in with the assistant, or the paralegal. She comes in, and basically anybody that comes in with your attorney, if your attorney just says, "Oh, she works for me," they don't have to show anything. She works for me. She's that. the attorney would then stand there and make sure that the guard didn't walk over or do anything. And the guards are basically playing on their phones the whole time. They don't come look, nothing, because it's your attorney. And he would fuck the paralegal. So, and listen, I seen the paralegal.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
This little old man. I don't know. And he was a little old man too. He was in his 60s.
He was a short dude.
Yeah, a little tiny guy.
Uh-huh.
And then so he's fucked. So, and listen, I know I had John Gordon, which was a black guy out of I want to say Chicago. I was locked up in the medium with him. He was in Atlanta before he came to Coleman Medium. He got his girlfriend. He'd been locked up like 8 years, and got her maybe 5, and got her pregnant. You know what they used to do there?
Behind the vending machines?
No, behind the photo guys would bring out the big backdrop.
The backdrop.
And they would sit there in front of it, and your family would go in front of them. They take the pictures, but you could step behind it, and so they would leave a little bit of about 2.5 feet in between that and the wall. Take your girl back there and fuck her. He got his wife or girlfriend pregnant with this kid, and his kid at this point was like 12 years old when he told the story. He's like I've been locked up like 20 years, and she's 12. He was in. I'm keep waiting for the phone call where she says, How are you my dad? Like, you've been locked up 20 years. I'm 12. How does that work? Because I'm waiting for that call.
I'll tell you what, you gotta give those guys credit. I don't think I could fuck anybody behind a drug.
Boy, let me tell you,
knowing that there is like
the pressure. And
there's visitation.
100, there's 100 people in visitation.
2 guards, visitation, the photographer, and you are behind a backdrop. That deserves.
Listen,
you deserve that.
Yeah.
Night.
Listen, I have to have some candles lit.
Absolutely. Seduce
candles
me.
lit. I have to have some nice soft music.
Seduce me.
It's got to be dark, and the door has to be closed. Like, yeah, there's a lot I need.
Plus, I'm Latino, bro. It's gonna take me at least 45 minutes to get the job done. Just kidding. That's why they don't want us here. You see, But yeah, it's
and 2 pills.
Yeah. Now I'm up to 50 milligrams. But it's the whole criminal lifestyle and case and evolution of this case, and then how it turned into this brand new case, and then the kidnapping, and it just. Sometimes I tell the story, and I'm like, I feel like I'm telling the story of somebody else, because I can't believe that I was so stupid. I'm so reckless. Now my kids are older. How's your relationship with your son? Are you guys?
Yeah. We text. I mean, we've been to dinner, lunch. Like he lives in Kansas now. It's funny. One of a buddy of his who plays pool with him and works with him left a comment the other day. He's like, "Hey, just want to let you know. I talked to your son. I actually work with him. We play pool together."
Because my oldest, you should have a podcast with my daughters. That would be a killer, because they'll show you a different side. I don't think you have ever had a kid of somebody incarcerated.
No.
And my kids are super open about it nowadays, And they're super different. Like, my oldest is beautiful. They're both beautiful. But my oldest is like Kim Kardashian.
Okay.
Like, she's going to come in and she'll be like, "Matt, is it a 10? Yeah, good. I got to go to the salon. Maybe get a new outfit, get some makeup, And then she will need a screen here, Colby. There's no way in hell she's going to be here without looking at how she's looking. My youngest can give 3 shits about it. Careless about it. She'll come in and she'll just talk. But they have a whole different perspective. And my daughter is more social, more edgy. And the other day she was in a restaurant and she's talking to her friends. And I guess one of her friends is like, "Yeah, because, some drug guy wants to give me some money to move to my account. And I think I'm going to do it because there's nothing." And my daughter is like, "That's money laundering."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What do you know about money laundering?" My daughter goes, "I don't know anything, but I can call a guy that knows." So she calls me. And she puts me on speaker. And I don't know who she's with. And she's like, "Dad, I'm here with some friends." And I'm like, "Yeah, baby, what's going on?" "Listen, can you tell these guys how you launder money?" I'm like, "No. First of all, I'm on a speaker. Second of all, I'm in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. You're in a restaurant with a bunch of people that I don't know. You cannot be advertising that your father used to launder money for other people. This is not how you present me, And she's like, whoa. Maybe we'll have a meeting at home and you can tell them a little bit about it. I'm like, "No, I'm not doing a tutorial on money laundering with your friends."
Well, nowadays, they think it's cool.
They think it's super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
My ex-wife will call me on speaker in the vehicle while she's driving with her. This is her middle kids, not my son, but her other kids and their friends who all follow me.
Of course.
And she'll be, oh, I'll call him right now. She'll call and I'll answer. I'm like, yeah, what's up? They're like, oh, he answered. And then she says, she's like, tell these, I'm in the car with, tell them this. And I'm like, yeah, bro, yeah, this and this and this. How much money was it? This and this. How much? And they'll go through the whole thing, right?
They paint the whole.
They love it. And then she's like, tell them everything you lost. And then even thinking about it, I tear up. I'm like, this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, absolutely not worth it.
I'm going through something that you went through. It's my mom is super sick. Super, super sick. So it was her birthday on October, and it's the first time she doesn't recognize me. So I had to do a video.
Old is she?
She's 82. So I call her and I'm like, happy birthday. And she's just looking at me because she now has advanced dementia. And I made a video and I said, wow, I missed 9 years of having her in good health. And now I get this version of her. My daughter is getting married in May. And my oldest, been married for a while. And yesterday we were planning the wedding and I got teary-eyed and I'm like, I can't believe I'm planning your wedding. I mean, this is like surreal. I miss your sweet 16. I miss your graduation. I miss a bunch of stuff and I get to enjoy this. And kids don't see that. Kids are like, oh my God, so cool. So you got a tattoo in prison? I'm like, yeah, I got this. Oh my God, you're so cool. I'm like, yeah, you think that's cool? Well, I'm going to tell you the non-so-cool part. You don't get to turn on or turn off your own lights. You get to shit in front of a guy all the time, 24/7.
Yeah.
You have no privacy. You don't have, it's a whole different version of things. It's not as bad as Latin America. Like, I'm sure somebody's going to post a comment on YouTube saying, yeah, but have you ever been in prison in Africa? They put a monkey there and they rape you and an elephant. Yeah, I understand that. But I also understand that in the Norwegian regions, they're closing prisons down right now because crime is so low. Prisons are sitting empty. So there's a point
and the prisons that they're putting it are in like fucking hotels.
Dude, and you get to go to university and come back. I don't know if this is a whole different podcast, or maybe this could be a version, Colby, since you are the brain behind this operation. We're just the pretty faces. We're just the talent.
I mean, before you give me your idea, I would say anything with you two. I would
but look at this. I think people forgot how I met Matt Cox in prison.
I think we should talk about it. I think that should be.
This should be part of the story.
Okay.
This should be the bromance. So when you go to Coleman Law is Coleman Law. How do you explain Coleman Law? It's like a prison, but it's not a prison. You have a mix of criminals. It's not a fun place by all means. It's prison.
No, there were tons of fights and people got cut with razors and everything.
Oh my God! I remember the guy that got caught in front of Alpha 3, like the Sureños cut him open, and it was just like there's blood on the sidewalks. I mean, you get this, but then occasionally you get like the transgender that becomes like somebody's girlfriend and then dumps him for somebody else, and then you get like this Housewives of Coleman episode in the rec yard when there's like a slap competition, and you're like, this is surreal. I mean, I don't get it,
Or it's karaoke Tuesdays.
Or you get karaoke, or you got karaoke Tuesdays, or ice cream palooza when we get like the ice cream of the month, and so it's like you're living in two different worlds, And I always talked about there's so many stories. Like you have the education department, and then we do seminars. And then like the guy that brings drugs by boat, he has a seminar on boating and how to become a captain. And then the real estate con artist has a real estate investment seminar in prison. And the guy that used to scam the banks has a credit repair class in prison. So
what if I was just thinking that.
What the fuck?
My favorite was when I wrote it will always be me writing we used to get the Jordan, or was it James Jordan? I forget. It was basically a prison newsletter that's run by a lawyer on the street. Like
it was a weekly thing.
Yeah. Robert,
oh my God! Are you gonna talk about the Puerto Rican thing?
Yes, the Puerto Rican thing.
Good.
Which was so. The quick version is that this would be actually hilarious. Might be a good short.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think it could be a good short for fake news, like talking about what fake news.
Yeah, this is before fake news.
This is before fake news.
So one day I'm sleeping. and there's like 4 or 5 Puerto Ricans talking in front of my cell, right? And you can't really, it's 11 o'clock at night, I'm trying to sleep, and you can't really say, hey man, can you guys fucking move or shut the fuck up? If you sleep hot at night, you know how disruptive that can be. When you're not resting well, everything else feels harder. Your focus, your mood, even your recovery. GhostBed is here to help you fix that. They've spent decades perfecting how to build a bed that's comfortable, durable, and designed to actually help you rest. Every GhostBed mattress features premier materials, proven cooling technology, and their exclusive ProCore layer, a targeted support system that reinforces the center of the mattress where the body is heaviest. It helps keep your spine aligned and your back supported, so you can wake up ready for anything 2026 throws at you. Each mattress comes with a 101 night sleep trial and a 20 to 25 year warranty, so you can try it risk-free, knowing it's built to last. Shipping is fast and free. Most orders arrive in 2 to 5 days. GhostBed has great prices to begin with, up to 50% off comparable brands. And Inside True Crime listeners can get an extra 10% off site-wide for a limited time. Just go to ghostbed.com/Cox and use promo code Cox at checkout. That's ghostbed.com/Cox, promo code Cox. Upgrade your sleep with GhostBed, the makers of the coolest bed in the world. Some exclusions apply. See site for details. Right? There's like 5 of them. It's not going to end well. You know, they come in your cell, whatever. It could go bad. So you just sit there and you just wait, hope that they get tired and they leave. And I'm sitting there thinking, these fucking guys, man. I wish someone could just send them back to the island. And I was sitting there and I thought, you know what? I think, was Trump president at the time? No.
Yes.
Was he? Was it Trump or was it like...
No.
It was Obama.
It was Obama, and he had just announced the cancellation of the wet food, dry food Cuban protection.
Yes.
That's what it was.
So it was Obama, and I thought, you know who could send them back? Obama. And I kind of like smiled, like thought about it, and then I thought, oh my God, wait a minute. So the next day I go in and I write an article from like the New York Times or something with quotes from all kinds of
USA Today.
USA Today. I write quotes from the BOP, the new, because the BOP is constantly changing these presidents or whoever's running it, whatever, the director. So there was a new director, quotes from him, quotes from all these people that were always in the newspaper. And it talked about how Obama had just signed Executive Order 90275. And then I looked up the ruling or law that made all Puerto Ricans U.S. citizens, and I found out why they made them citizens and when it was. This was during World War I. They needed like 40,000 or 15,000 extra soldiers, basically for cannon fodder.
Yeah.
And so they said, we'll make Puerto Rico a state, but you have to give us this many people to send to World War I, something like that. And so, but there was actually the name of the act. So I put in the thing the name of the act. And in the act, he had revised the act into saying that if Puerto Ricans committed a crime, their citizenship to the states could be released, and they had to be sent back to Puerto Rico, where they would not be able to come to the continental United States, something along those lines. So I write it up, and then I glue it into one of the newsletters, which came over our email system, CoreLinks email system. So I print it out and I glue it into one of the CoreLinks, because everybody gets these CoreLinks.
Everybody gets it.
So everybody was signed up. So I glue it in there, and then I put the name of an inmate on it. So I change it up just a little bit so that they couldn't figure out, because I figure, look, at some point staff may get a hold of this. Then I go and I make, like, I didn't make that many copies. I made like 20 copies.
Yeah.
And I went and I put them, well, a few of them I wanted, it was more than...
about 20, because it was one per unit. And
I wanted to be able to hand out a few. I wanted to put a few here and there, just like leave them, like, hey, did you see this, bro? Just to spark it. So I go and I pin those on the corkboard in all the units. And then I pass out a few of them. It's like, bro, did you see this? And I don't say anything. And I just say, what is that? I'm like, I know something about Puerto Ricans. I don't know. They're sending them back.
He's leaving something out of this.
What is that?
He's highlighting.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's highlighting the areas of interest on this article.
Yes. So but I'm passing them out because as soon as they read it, they're like, you see them like, what,
Yeah.
what? And they're like, "Oh, can I keep this?" And I'm like, yeah, bro, why? What is it a big deal? No. And then they're bolting. So we're sitting there. Listen, I'm sitting there, and it was like, I don't hear anything. Like I passed out a few, and I knew I had them up, and then I don't hear anything for like a day or so, and then one day I'm in line, and I hear these guys in front of me or behind me going, "No, man, I'm telling you, I got my family on it right now, bro. I'm telling you, this is what's going on." And they're going on and on. I'm thinking, Obama, executive order. No, you don't understand. They're gonna deport us back to Puerto Rico. And they're saying all this stuff, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And then then later on that night, at the next time you go to Chow for dinner, there's two guys in front of me, like, "Man, I hope they fucking send them all back, bro. I can't." And they're going, and I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
The next day, Juan comes in. I'm sitting at the table in the library, and I'm writing, and Juan comes over and kind of sits down. And he goes, "Man, have you heard anything about this Puerto Rican thing?" And I went. I said, and I'm at this point, by the way, I know because I walk into my unit after chow, and there's like 6 or 7 of these guys, and the guy is reading it. That they don't speak English, right? He's reading it he's translating it in Spanish to these guys, and they're freaking out. They're bolting for the fucking phone. But keep in mind, now it's been a few days. The families are now looking for the newspaper
Hiring
articles.
attorneys.
It's insane. So then one day I'm in the library sitting there. Juan comes in and says, "Man, do you hear anything about this Puerto Rican thing? Like they're coming up to me. They're talking about having to go back to Puerto Rico. They're going to deport them. If you commit a crime in the United States, they're now going to strip them of citizenship and make them stay in Puerto Rico. Have you heard this?" And I'm like, I sat there for a minute because I told nobody. Because at this point I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that the staff is now figuring it out, and the staff will be like, they'll grab you and charge you for, what is it, inciting a riot, or they'll twist some kind of law to get you in trouble.
And you'll get more time.
Yeah, they don't think it's funny. And I didn't think it was going to, I thought it was kind of silly, kind of funny, but I know now.
It wasn't funny.
It's everywhere, and they're terrified. And so I'm sitting there, and Juan is like, "Have you heard anything?" I went, And he goes, "Do you hear something?" I went, "Juan, I swear to God, bro. I said, I got to tell you something." And I said, "I swear you can never fucking tell anybody. Nobody. You can never." And he goes, "What is it?" And I went, I wrote the article, and I included it in, and I made the copies. And he goes, "Oh, my God." He goes, "Oh, my God."
Because the other side of the story is for like 4 days, people kept going into my cubicle like, "Hey, Venezuela, yeah. Bro, can you write a motion to the court so they don't deport me?" And I'm like, "You're Puerto Rican, bro." "Yeah, but have you heard this new law?" I'm like, you're an American citizen. They cannot deport you." "I don't know, because it's already all over Univision and Telemundo. My mom saw it in the news." I'm like,
That's not even true.
I'm like, "That's impossible, Brian. I mean, tell your family to send you the article. If it's in the news, it's in the news.
Yeah.
Send you the article." "Yeah, but they can't find it anywhere, and we already hired an attorney." And then we had a town hall in my unit, and the town hall is when they get like all the inmates, and the counselor comes out and he goes, "We have already gotten a bunch of forms asking us about this deportation thing. We got the BOP looking into it, and we will give you information to see if you're going to get deported." So they're not even saying, "You guys are a bunch of idiots." No, to see if you're going to get deported or not. "We're looking into this new law, but it may not apply to everybody. You have to give us some more time. Stop putting forms under my door because we don't have an answer yet." And that's when I said, "Oh, shit."
And guys were also coming up to you talking about, "I cooperated."
Oh my God!
I can't go back.
I can't go. Or people like pay. I remember Matt at some point goes, because I told him, "Bro, people are asking me to like write a motion." Remember?
Yeah, I was like,
people
"You should charge."
People are asking me to write a motion to the court so they don't get deported. And he's like, "You should charge for that shit. Tell them you're gonna write a motion and charge $100." I'm like, "This is gonna be even bigger than it is right now. I don't think we can pull that stunt."
You could have made $3 or $4 grand.
Oh my God,
easy.
in a heartbeat. These guys were scared shitless. Because the people don't understand, we may be some of the few ex-convicts that talk about the truth,
Yeah.
but everybody snitches.
Yeah.
Everybody snitches. I don't know one guy that hasn't. That maybe they didn't get credit for snitching is another story.
Right.
But they all snitch at some
Yeah.
point.
If they went to trial, then they probably didn't, and then they just regret it.
Yeah. Then they were like, okay, I didn't know the system. I didn't have a good attorney, so on and so forth. But how I met Matt Cox in prison. I go into Coleman Law, which is this low custody prison. And I come from like spending a year and a half in the building, which is a maximum custody
In Miami.
in Miami. And then when I get to Coleman, you know, they give you your mattress and your bag, and they're like, just that's your unit. Go. Like, go. You're free.
Yeah. Keep in mind, anywhere you're walking around in these buildings, you always got like a guard with you, or they're opening a door. You walk in 10 feet, they're opening another door. Like
Yeah.
you're so confined all the time, and then they just open the compound, which is this massive
And it's
compound.
and it's the first time I've seen sunlight in like a year and a half, and grass, and you smell it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I go into my unit, and then people always ask, hey, what are you in here for? What are you in here for? And it's for many reasons. Number one, predators or chomos, as we like to call them, they are, you know, outcast, but they have their own
Group.
community.
Yeah. Their own.
Yeah. And, you know, then you have your drug lords, and then you have, you know, whatever. So I'm like, listen, my case is fraud. And it's like, how much? 39 million. And how much time did you get? 15 years. And people kind of do the math, you know?
Yeah, they think that's about right.
Okay,
yeah.
that's about right. That the numbers make sense. Okay. You have to meet Matt Cox. And I'm like, who is he? Yeah, he's a guy that, like, he's like the fraudster of the prison. He's like the kingpin of fraud. And I said, all right, that's fine. So I don't know if you were playing Risk.
Oh, I probably made
Remember?
them. I loved Risk.
I don't know if you were playing Risk on the backyard, on the rec yard.
That's the only game I would have played.
Yeah. And then I walked and I'm like, who's Matt Cox? You go, oh man, my name is Juan Sanchez. They told me to talk to you. I guess you committed fraud and I committed fraud, and we're supposed to like stick together. Oh, how much? 39. How did you do it? So I explained my crime to him, and he's like, oh my God. And I said, what was your crime? And we kind of started talking, and he's like, oh, finally I can speak the language.
Yeah.
Like the fraud language with somebody, which is kind of cool. And then you had your smart, because they used to call you the smart white boys. And which of course I wasn't a white boy. So they were like, you're just hanging out with the smart white boys. And I was like, wow, you know, I mean, these guys are well-read. They're not the smartest probably, but you spend your time reading. I spent my time reading. So you could go back and forth and have conversations. But then we started coming up with these ideas for these seminars in education, like the real estate investment and the banking and the boating and the other stuff. And we created a little bit of a culture. I remember I had a bunch of like black guys always like in my cell, how do I open an LLC? So when I get out of here, I want to have this idea or that idea. I remember I fixed like everybody's credit in prison. So everybody walked out of there with like a 740, you know, and an LLC open and whatnot.
Yeah, Dawsey. You remember Dawsey Richards?
Yeah.
I did a podcast with him. Hilarious.
No
Hilarious.
shit.
And he used to do he used to write business plans.
Business plans. And what was the name of his seminar or his system? He had a system.
He got out. Started opening. You remember the rooming houses? Mm-hmm. He started opening up the rooming houses and ended up starting some kind of course on teaching people how to buy single family homes and turning them into rooming houses. They don't call them that. He calls them smart rooms, or so. He's got some catchy name to it.
Yeah. Well, he was always into catchy names. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He always had a system like the super speed fast system or the 7-minute real estate thing. Teaching them in prison, by the way. And he then, I'll do your business plan, and he will charge a bunch of money for business plans.
Yeah. I was gonna say a couple $100, and it was just. It was all BS.
On a typewriter.
These guys don't know any better.
No.
And he's making up. I'm like, yeah, bro. And people are like, hey, Dawsey gave me this. What do you think of it? I'm just looking. I'm like, I don't want to say anything bad about Dawsey, especially knowing this guy might go back and have an issue. I'm like, oh, wow, looks great. Like, and I'm thinking, I wonder, where's he getting these statistics? Like,
I mean,
how are you going to get a loan for this? Like, where are you getting the money for this? Oh, no, page 4. I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, people walk out of there with like huge plans. And then you had the personal trainers and it's a culture on its own.
Yeah. Because there are guys trying to, some guys are duping them, and some guys are genuinely teaching. Like I genuinely taught a real estate class that was within reason. Like, here's how you're not going to be able to walk into the bank and they're not going to give you $500,000. No, it's not going to how it's going to work. You're going to have to build your credit, do this, it was step by step. And I was like, look, it's difficult. It takes time, but you can do it.
You're going to build it up and you're going to do it right. And and there's a bunch of people that did time with us that are super successful right now.
Yeah. No, I've
successful.
Dawsey Richards is successful. We've had several guys on here that have hit the ground running, and maybe it takes you a year or two to get back in a position, but boom, they start companies. You
remember Bizo, black guy that worked out Alpha 3? He trained about exactly. He lives in Tampa. He has a super cool gym here, and he's doing very good. And now he has his own line of clothing. Yeah, I'll give you his contact. Maybe you can bring him in here.
Yeah,
he's doing very, very well. Very, very well.
I used to always love that when the guys, saw a black guy would walk up and he'd say, "Hey, can you get me, T-Dog?" And be like, "Well, what?" They go, "T-Dog. He's got black guy, about 6 foot, dreads, gold teeth." I'd be like, "That's half the guys in the unit."
I was in a podcast yesterday, and the lady after the podcast, she goes, "You want some lunch?" And I said, "Well, yeah, but we're going to get Japanese." She goes, "Okay, that's fine." She said, I said to the waitress, "Do you have any kind of soup here?" She said, "No, just ramen noodles." And the host looked at me, and I said, "Yeah, I don't do ramen noodles."
Okay. I'm full.
Yeah, I've done 90 years of ramen noodles. Thank you. No, I've gotten all the ones that I want. But I think you should have at some point a cooking episode here. Colby, let's get a cooking episode here. Let's bring some chips.
Can you do it?
I can make some burritos that you will pay top dollars for.
If you come, I'll set it up and we'll get.
Listen, by the way, we don't need a kitchen. All we need is a microwave.
Yeah. I'm saying I'll make sure that the studio's set up.
Yeah. Oh, we can do it with a stinger. We can do it with a stinger. Those things will be a killer. We can make some burritos here. We can make some. We had some cookies they used to call crack. Remember the crack cookies? They were addictive. I mean, they will make them. The inmates will make them. They were like the little strips that had chocolate, and it was just It's a subculture.
Yeah, I try not to eat as little stuff as the inmates made, unless they ordered everything from commissary and made it with the commissary items, because sometimes you just never knew. You never knew what's in these things.
Or how it was transported.
Yeah. How long? How long did it take to make those things? Like, if you actually did an episode on it.
Oh my God, it's microwave. Remember, no more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, you can make multiple. You can make. They had dozens and dozens.
Listen,
of
I
dishes.
can make a mofongo, a burrito, an apple pie.
That actually would be like a pretty good episode, I think.
And I can make an apple pie. I can make all kinds of delicious meals.
You can make cheesecake, no cheese, no milk,
cheese.
no. It's all
correct.
It's all creamer. Guys would be like, "Hey man, you want a piece of some piece of cheesecake?" And it'd be like, that's literally probably an entire bag of creamer.
Yeah, that's a heart attack.
You're going to give me a bag of creamer
and some Kool-Aid flavor. If you wanted to like cherry cheesecake or.
And then they'd have. They would drizzle it, like it would look like it came
amazing.
Out. It would look amazing, and it tastes amazing. But and then the crust would be made out of cookies. They crumble up the cookie, and they store it up. And when they baked it, it was hard, like crust.
Amazing! It's amazing.
It was amazing. But
I went to dinner. I went to dinner with some friends that were in prison with me, and we go to this Mexican restaurant, and I tell them, it's like 3 of us, and I go to the waiter, "What's good here?" And he goes, "The nachos," and one of the guys goes, "Do you serve them in a table?" And the waiter's like, "What?" So we started like going at it. And I'm like, "Yeah, I would like a garbage bag, please. So we can put it on the table. And we want you to put the nachos right here on top of the table." I was like, "Yeah, and just bring some chili. And then we can just pour the chili on top of the nachos."
And then I'm going to pay with stamps.
And then I'll pay you with some stamps, because we do everything. We used to, like in one of the prisons that I was, we serve everything on the table with we don't have a tablecloth, but a garbage bag. Garbage bags were our best friends. Everything was with garbage bags cut off, and we have to have an episode about that, Colby. Set it up.
Tomorrow
Set it up. I'll bring the ingredients.
I've always thought how funny it would be to go to meet someone in prison, go to dinner with them, and then when the check comes, pull out 2 or 3 things of stamps and a couple of mackerels, and be like, "I got this, bro. I got this." Boom.
My money's long. Here. I got max. I've got max to go. That's how we survive, fellas.
I have a bag of keefy at the house.
I got some shebangs the other day from somebody.
Jess, my wife bought shebangs the other day.
They're on the streets. They're expensive. They're like, my kids love them, but you eat those things and you end up like,
Yeah.
they're horrible. But shebangs are the best, definitely. I need to have going back to our topic about the Venezuelan president. You know, he got arrested with his wife,
Right.
and a lot of people are asking me about how is the shoe for women. I don't know.
I mean, how would you know? Jess would know.
But Jess will know.
Was she? You know, I don't think she's been in the shoe for women. I think because when she did go to the shoe, they
Jess went to the shoe?
Yeah, they didn't have a shoe at Coleman at the camp. They moved you to the local prison. I'm sorry, the local jail. So you would go to the jail there. That was their shoe.
Okay. So, but she knows at least what people want to know is the strip search. How is the strip search different from men's? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I should ask. I could ask.
You should ask. Then I can have her as a strip search expert.
Yeah. So what are you doing now for, income?
What am I doing for income? Well, I tried OnlyFans and it didn't work out.
No, not everybody makes good money.
Well, it's the feed. I think, the feed did not appeal. No, when I was here, I was helping people with finances and credit and so on and so forth. But in the last 5 years, I went deep into AI, artificial intelligence. And
Is that what AI stands for?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure because I noticed that there is no technology here on this thing. So we're still using like the Beta Max cameras. Dude, and it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. So what I'm doing is teaching people how to use AI to advance their business, to fix their credit, to basically become I even have I create apps. So I have an app where you can get an Instagram video and post it and see if it's a scam or it's not a scam, if it's true what they're telling you or not. How to scan a real estate closing document, and it will tell you where they're overcharging you. So that's great. And we do summer camps for kids too, where we teach them technology. Because technology, dude, I'm grateful that we didn't have artificial intelligence in our crime days.
Right.
If we did, I would have gotten probably 180 years. But these kids have it, and these people have it, and they don't recognize what's real and what's not real.
Right.
I mean...
And they're just taking it's funny because they're just taking the old scams and they're just revamping them with the AI, and they're even worse. It's even more devastating.
Remember that, we were talking about real estate. The appraiser had to go to the house and take pictures. Now they can take a picture online and create the house and fix it and put palm trees and nobody can question whether it's real or not real. I mean, you're still the face of fraud for title lock, right?
Yeah, for home title lock. Yeah.
For home title lock. Maybe this is not the right thing to say here, but your section of the crime, the stealing the properties, the quit claim deeds back. Like I always tell people in my seminars, I worked for my fraud.
Yeah.
I worked my ass off. You had to type the deeds.
And go down there.
And file them and falsify the notary stamp and do all these things.
I had to know what looked real, like what it really was and how it really was done. And now,
the other day somebody showed me a quit claim deed and said, "Listen, what do you? I don't know if I got scammed." And I looked at it and I said, "Yeah, you got scammed." And he's like, "How do you know? How do you know?" I said, "Well, look at the dates. I mean, the dates don't. The notary says that it notarized before the date that it was filing, and it actually got filed, and nobody paid attention. I mean, but any court, this can be reverted because the dates don't make sense. But now with AI, you can just create new documentation, make it compliant, file it. So I teach people how to prevent that from happening to them. How to identify what's real and what's not real with AI, which is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And I do it with the Spanish community, but I'm going to start doing it with the English community because you guys need all the help you can get. I mean, I think that's my little contribution. To you guys, to you all, and that's keeping me super busy, super busy. I don't know if it happens to you, but people every time I tell my story, they're like, "You should have a Netflix series."
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I also should have a bunch of stuff that I don't have because it takes time and it takes
time,
money,
and it takes luck.
And
because
it takes long.
because you can have everything set up and it still just doesn't happen. And some idiot, his uncle bumps into a guy at a party who knows Brad and Tom, and the next thing you know, they bought the guy's life rights, and he wasn't even looking. And suddenly there's a Netflix special, and
yeah, I mean, and
his half-ass story ends up being a fucking series, and you're like,
5 years ago, you and I looked at, we reviewed some crimes, some financial crimes that were happening, and we were talking about the Tinder swindler, and reinventing Anna, and after that, there has been a bunch of crimes that have been documented, and I look at the Netflix specials, and I'm like, I mean, petty stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's so I try to tell people, like, listen, don't fall prey for these scams, and use AI to make money. And if people knew how much money they could make on AI, Colby wouldn't work for you. You know, I mean, I have students, I have kids
keep that on the down low.
I have kids making $1,000 a week. Kids that are 14, 15 years old making websites.
And this is, what about you said the faceless
YouTube channels.
YouTube channels. Yeah.
I mean, I have a kid that has a YouTube channel of a little cartoon chimpanzee that teaches finances, and he does it in video. So all he tells the app, listen, make a video this time around of a chimpanzee teaching about credit cards. That's it. And then he posted on YouTube. He's monetizing. He's making about $800 a month. 14 years old.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I get it. I see. If
I mean, how many members of your family, Matt, did you have to have sex with when you were little to have $800 a month at that age?
Eventually the money dried up when I started getting body hair. The family member thing threw me off.
Good times.
So yeah, I always think to myself, boy, if I had a parent, I would be like, listen, and had a kid, I'd be like, look, what you need to do is, you're 17 years old or you're whatever, because right now, especially when you're young, you have no bills. Start a YouTube channel. Start doing true crime videos where you just read about a true crime thing for the course of 45 minutes and post it. Yeah, even the news. Get anything and post it, and then just see as if the channel grows. And it'll probably be stagnant for 6 months or a year, but it will slowly grow. And next thing, 4 years from now, when you're 21 years old and it takes you no time at all, and you can edit the videos, you'll probably be making $20,000 a month.
Listen, we were talking about it earlier. What I try to do on my events is stimulate creativity. But I see these people that come to my events and they're like, I don't know what to do. Like the other day, a lady literally told me, I'm here because I want you to tell me what should I do to make money.
You could do anything.
And I said, I don't know. I mean, how good are you at sucking dick? I mean, that's an option. But is that what you want to hear? She's like, no. I said, so why would you ask me? I mean, you can do anything. People don't think anymore.
Right.
You know, the kids don't think anymore. So
you could she could take the basic article on any given subject and have ChatGPT or Grok rewrite the article and extend it so that it will be a 45-minute YouTube video, and then just put it on a what is the thing that
teleprompter?
Yeah, the teleprompter. Yeah, they're cheap. Buy a teleprompter for $40 or $50.
That's it.
And just read it, and then you can even drop it into. I think it's I forget the name of the app. I actually have it. It's a service I paid for. You drop it in there. You can sit there and do this with your eyes the whole time and drop it in and have it correct your eyes.
And it keeps your eyes,
And so it looks like you're perfectly staring right at the person, telling them the entire story.
It's amazing.
You sound amazing. You look amazing. And then post it. And then share it to all your friends. You know what kills me too? Then share it on Facebook and...
People are looking for perfection, bro.
No, you can
when
make
you started your
fuck up. And
I remember when you told me, look, I started my YouTube channel with my cell phone in my kitchen. You didn't even have this. You were like recording from the kitchen camera. People want to start with 5 cameras and a light and a Colby and an editor and a this and a that. It's like, no, man, start with your phone. There's a bunch of people making money with their phones.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was gonna pick a time to be released out of prison, I would love to be released out of prison in a time like right now, because even those stories can be monetized.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to monetize them.
Well, there's tons of guys that are walking right out of prison that are just telling prison stories. There's guys making $10,000-$20,000 a month just doing prison stories on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. They just you're posting the same thing practically.
Yeah,
To maybe alter it slightly for each. And people
platform. Get mad. I mean, I don't know if your audience get mad, but my audience gets mad every now and then. I mean, like I said, I just did a podcast yesterday, and she posted it right away. Like I did it at noon, and it was posted at 9. And the comments are like, "Oh, I can't believe this ex-convict is talking about how good he's doing. He should be blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Bro, don't be hating. I mean,
yeah, don't hate me because you suck at life.
Be correct.
You know, I'm start behind the 8 ball. I'm way behind. Why aren't you doing
money
better?
Telling his story. How much money is he gonna make making telling his story? I'm like, why don't you tell your story?
Yeah, it's my story.
It's my story. Why wouldn't I monetize
These
it?
are the same people that think you should get 100 years for stealing a car. You know what I'm saying? Or these are the people that think you should be, that they're like, nobody should ever get out of prison. It's like, okay, you know how many people in my feed will say, I'll tell a story, and they're like, this guy, why isn't this guy locked up? And then other people are like, well, he did 13 years. He should still be in prison. Like, what do you know? You're just some fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's
with
correct.
A TikTok account.
Period. That's it. And you lied on your taxes last year, and probably if they do an audit,
You probably had 2 DUIs and you're a shitty husband and whatever.
Correct.
Or I guess maybe some people are perfect. Maybe I don't think perfect people make those.
I think Colby has some huge skeletons in his closet.
Oh, Colby's got. He's the only person in Florida with a basement. It's filled with sex
and
slaves.
I'll tell you right now, and I want this to be on this podcast. I have no shame on snitching on him.
No.
The moment I find out what he has in his closet,
no. I was talking.
I'm getting my citizenship on him.
That's
my golden ticket.
I was talking to a guy the other day who basically was, what did he do? He basically, one of his things is he preaches that he didn't snitch and he this and he that, and we were talking on the phone. He called me up and was just kind of talking to me about some stuff, even though he's bashed me in the past. I'll tell you who it was later. And we're sitting there talking. I was like, right. And then he started talking about my buddy Wade. And I was like, yeah, I like Wade. I said, you know what? I said, Wade's a great guy. I said, he goes, yeah, he's a good guy. I said, I like Wade a lot. I said, you know what? I said, I might not snitch on Wade if we did a crime together. That's how much I like Wade. He goes, really? And he said, wow.
You must really like him.
He said, that's pretty good. I said, yeah, maybe. He might be okay. He goes, that's pretty impressive. I said, he's supposed to be a great guy. I said, he's a great guy.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of like how we measure people right now. It's like you're on my non-negotiable list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like you, but you better hope they talk to you
first. I can put money in your commissary. That's as much as I can do for you. Nothing more, nothing less. So that's what keeps me busy right now. For now, technology keeps advancing, and the more technology you have access to, the less I work.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the American dream. I am living the American dream. No, actually, JJ is living the American dream.
Yeah, in
Cambodia.
In Cambodia.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Also, please share the video. And if you want to get in contact with Juan, we're going to leave all of his social media links and his contact information in the description box. Once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. See ya.